probably
Take it
update
away,
the password update the.
Always update your passwords.
Always update your passwords.
I'm one of those people who doesn't update it until after the data breaches happen.
Perfect.
So, like everybody?
That's the best approach to have.
Yep.
This did not take me to the right place. Not. Okay. Let me update that stuff. Look at that.
So gonna get that max. Gonna get that max soon?
Probably not.
How about that Double XP weekend?
I don't know if I'll be able to play. But maybe. Get my crest of zeros. Okay.
When does the clan reset?
2 hours ago.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Might go there.
I forgot to cap this week.
I might have forgotten too. I went to Las Vegas for my 21st last week. Or
wow, that's a
most
way
of
to
last.
Celebrate.
That's a fair
Well,
trade.
my friend lives out there, so.
Welcome to the show, men. Okay. Show notes. Get everything set up on my monitor. I have to be the adult this stream.
Yep.
Is there anything wrong with audio? Tell me, because we're dropping frames. I won't know if either's happening because I'm gonna be too busy doing nothing. Bank standing. That's what my plan is. Where are harps? I always forget where harps are. I'm gonna do harps all stream.
They are in the south.
In Ithel?
West. Yeah, southwest corner-ish.
I am hosting.
Audio is good. That's good. Gameplay is fine.
This is advanced gameplay where we run around Priff looking for the harps.
Well, this is how you do the merchanting skill.
They're in Ithel, aren't they?
Ithel.
Yeah, I just remember the portions. I don't remember the names.
Okay, so you're staying over there. Okay, well, then we'll run back that way. Really, I should be doing Land Citadel because I've lost my. I'm not gonna get 1% extra XP this week, people. What am I supposed to do with my life?
Oh,
You believe? Like, I'm missing out on 1% XP.
that 6% is very tasty. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but I'm only getting 5 now, so I should probably just quit the game. There's no going back at this point.
Yes, no going back here. XP waste. So what are you doing?
I got. Oh, I should talk about that at the beginning of the show. Which we can probably start soon. I'm just being lazy and not really lazy. I haven't finished eating breakfast yet. That's why we're not doing it.
Yeah, munch that down.
Live slurping noises in soon.
The best kind.
Customize claim. No, not that.
I'm slowly working on my dungeoneering fragments.
Wait, no, that's not what I want. That word. Yeah, we'll do that one. No, I'm a fake gamer girl, okay? Caught me. Wow, everything's capped already? Jesus, people work fast, huh?
You sure it's reset?
Someone move it again? No, it's not reset.
It's not reset, yeah. I just looked at it now, I'm like, wait, hang on, 14 people.
Someone must have moved it again.
DX? No.
It wasn't DX, but it's supposed to be reset. I mean, I'm kind of happy it's not, because I need to get caught up.
Okay, so it's in 9 hours.
Yeah, that someone moved it. Maybe Aaron wanted it to be at morning time in the Australia
Well,
land.
Be like midday.
Okay,
my
maybe
time.
Parent wanted it to be midday. Why is the skilling backpack in my inventory?
That's some sort of... I don't even know what that is. It's some sort of treasure hunter thing, yeah.
Oh, because I had one more charges for it, I guess. I hate the skilling backpack. It's just a bane of my existence. Only 35 quest points from the Cape, says Finn Tom. Getting there. You've been working hard.
9 to 5.
Full-time RuneScape player.
Information. Okay, these capes look kind of interesting.
I know how the backpacks work, I just hate them.
When did they... I've never even heard of it before, but it's been out before.
Mm-hmm.
I should wiki it.
My iPhone is charging. That's fun. Problem to have. My phone is breaking.
iPhone charging ports. It's like the #1 issue.
Like the #1 issue on any device that charges ever.
I don't know. It's just the ports on all the iPods I used to have. They used to always go. That'd be the one thing that went.
Yeah, that's with any piece of technology. What is the #1? What is the #1 thing that you stick another thing into on a device? It's the charging port.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like
it's the thing that's most likely to break on any device ever made that requires charging. Think about it.
Stop with your logic. We don't like that logic stuff
Logic
here.
I don't think that cable is very, very strong. What that lightning was it called? Lightning or? I never had issues with the big, giant, chunky one.
Okay, well, consider yourself lucky then.
Or unlucky.
Well, if you never had issues with the 30-pin.
No.
You're lucky.
Oh, okay. Guess I was just unlucky then with the other one. Alright, if I don't need a cap here, I might as well just go back to divination.
This is the exciting stuff you get to hear about if you tune into the show when I'm still eating.
Charging cables and you're chewing.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up chewing.
Exactly. I don't even know if the stream can hear my chewing. They might not be able to. It might just be you guys. I have a noise gate on.
Exclusive content.
Exclusive to Discord only.
Noise gate? What does that even mean?
Call yourself a podcaster and you don't know what a noise gate is?
It's one of those big giant things that DX used to talk about. Or is it actually in the...
Giant things. It's...
Oh, the face mask thing.
No, that's not a noise gate.
Oh, okay. Is it something on an Apple computer? I seriously don't know what it is.
A noise gate is a way to set at what decibel your microphone actually starts picking up audio so that it doesn't pick up every little sound that it's made.
Oh, okay, alright. So I know what that is. You're just using these fancy words on me.
Fancy words. It's not really
all these technical
fancy.
words.
Okay. Cereal takes forever to eat when it's in front of an audience. Get that. I still have these peaches to eat. I'm not gonna get my food eaten. That's just what it's coming down to at this point.
Oh man, I can't wait for the peaches.
Practice on a peach. Practice on a peach.
Hey Derp, you know you could
Yeah.
be capping right now if you wanted to, or are you?
Well, if it didn't reset, I might be capped.
I thought you said you missed this week because you went to.
I don't remember what day I did it, to be honest.
Alright, well, cool. We'll keep the masses entertained. I'll be right back.
Hello, masses.
Are you entertained?
Are you not entertained? I don't even know what she is showing on the stream because my computer can't run Twitch at the same time as anything else. My computer can't. My internet can't.
Looks like chopping a tree at the clan citadel. It's bloody amazing.
Hard hitting PVMer.
Hard hitting, yes. Destroying that tree. Okay. Yeah, they're laughing at me in the chat. Well, Minsky is. Probably because I didn't know what a noise gate was. Alright. I've got some good topics here. Suppose I should probably open those up. Okay. So I guess you just put those pictures away, did you? I was really... Time for an upgrade dip. That's what Minsky said. Who is this? If I can. So this dungeon's quite a bit easier than the first one?
Oh yeah, so much easier.
That's pretty interesting.
It's actually enjoyable to solo.
Oh yeah? Yeah, probably have to come along with you tomorrow, or my tomorrow, which is today. Dang. Oh, a little tired, but my coffee will keep me going. Minsky wants to know how you're doing, Derp.
In game or in real life?
Probably real life, you know, that hard-hitting drama.
I'm doing good. Enjoying my first month of being 21 to its fullest.
So that's pretty much the same as being 20?
21 is the drinking age in America.
Oh, yes! Oh, yeah. So you've pretty much been, like, plastered 24/7?
Well, I live over the summer with my parents.
So
not so much.
So not so much, yeah.
But once I move back out,
party on down. Oh yeah, I forget that, eh? It's like 18 over here. It's probably better that it's 21, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Not that many people listen to it over here.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah. Same here. 18, lol. Like when they're 15. Oh, man. I'm not looking forward to my daughter being a teenager, I'll tell you that. Aussie is 18. I was Minsky from Australia. Minsky wants to know about your soap opera.
Soap opera?
I'm back. Did you all know it's 6 days till Double XP weekend? I just got told that on the homepage. I just thought you should know.
Yep, we know. It's good times. I don't know what. I think I'll try and do some dungeoneering. Like Magebit always says he will.
I would like to get 99 cooking, 99 fire making, 99 crafting, 99 fletching, and 99 construction. Because all those things cost money, and I only have 71 mil. So, if Stake.com wants to sponsor me...
Oh, wow. Hard hitting. Yeah. I have an apartment, but I could go for another apartment. That line, man. Oh, shoot. I can't wait to talk about this.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm ready to start now. So,
make sure you
anybody else not ready? Oh yeah, I should put in that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not like Magebit where I believe in these junior co-host positions.
Yeah, get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'll just be a standard co-host. Thank you very much. I changed the date for you. It's also
thank you.
Discount co-host.
Discount.
I just put an R somewhere, I think, and I'm sorry. I clicked over to Google Doc and
hit
then
edit and hit undo.
Actually,
I think you're the host, Hannah. I think you're the host today.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to give me a catch up though. Okay. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Ready as I'll be.
Only dropped 300 frames. Look at that. We're gold. I should started the recording, but I should check the recording folder to make sure there's not something else in here. There isn't. Okay. All right. Well.
Definitely recording.
Definitely recording.
Awesome. All right.
Okay. Cool. Let's do this thing. Silence while I introduce the show. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for 8/24/2018. I'm your host, NOT Magebit, with not 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is the RRman and Derp Dragon. Today on the show, we have a bunch of different topics, and I'm gonna restart the intro because I said "we" too many times and I don't like it.
Very cool.
That's how I go.
That's how we roll.
I could make like an hour-long episode out of the amount of times I've restarted PVM Perspective from the top.
Hey, you want to get it right? You want to get it right, eh?
Okay, yeah. Let's do this again. Silent and to give some editing space. You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for 8/24/2018. I'm your host, NOT Magebit, with not 17 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today on the show are the RRman and Derp Dragon. And the topics for today: we say goodbye to RuneScape Classic, Skilling Survey, August the month ahead, was the 5-year plan a good idea? we say goodbye to a friend. Player-owned farm showcase summary. And that's gonna be our show. And RRman, what have you been up to in RuneScape and/or in life, my friend?
RuneScape, it's just divination energy. All that divination energy. It's really sad it's dropping in price though.
Yeah.
Not making as much anymore.
Well, are you doing the Divine-O-Matic, or are you doing the divination energy?
Yeah, I'm just sucking that stuff straight up into the vacuum.
Yeah, so you're
so much more AFK.
Yeah. I imagine it might be. I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about divination is they've added kind of more and more ways to make it super AFK. So like, yeah. So I think it's gonna drop in price. I don't really see it stopping unless they like introduce another sync for it, because like more and more people are AFKing it. Like I don't know. I kind of wish they would get rid of the wilderness. I think that's the biggest thing that broke it, because the wilderness, you have no requirements to harvest it there. You can get the best. You can use like a level 3 character to get the best energy in the game, and then trade it to your main and convert it, which is like kind of a bit broken, if you ask me. But that's the choice they decided to make.
That is interesting. Didn't know that.
Anyways, we also have Derp Dragon on the show. How are you doing, Derp? What have you been up to? Just had a birthday, right?
Yeah, beginning of the month. Last week basically I didn't get to play RuneScape because I was busy drinking with buds. So
Hell yeah,
it's been fun.
That is a more fun.
Yeah, the ride's gotta slow down as my bank account slowly dwindles.
Yeah, now that you're 21, you can watch that happen every time you want to go out to the bar and realize how hella expensive it is.
Yep.
Not cheap.
That's why you go on weekdays and not weekends. You go on weekdays where there's good sales. Like me and my friend used to go when I lived in the one town I lived in. There was a bar. My favorite bar was like a block and a half away, and we'd go on Thursdays where it was like half price on one of our favorite beers, and like burgers were, and it was like a burger night too, so burgers were super cheap. So save a bunch of money that way. Anyways, we shall hop into the show. First topic we have today is saying goodbye to RuneScape Classic. This happened, I don't even remember what date this happened on. It's been a couple weeks now, but we have not made an episode since, I don't think.
6th of August.
6th of August. Okay, I was going to say, this article was written on the 13th, and it definitely wasn't then. But yeah.
No.
Classic shut down. There's a kind of a cool thing that happened where the servers were supposed to go down at a certain time, but one streamer was trying to finish, I think it was Legends Quest, before the servers went down, and was just barely not there, and Jagex ended up extending the time so that he could finish. It was Legends Quest, right? I'm remembering that correctly?
Yeah, going for the Legends Cape. That's the one.
Yeah. So they extended it for a few hours until he finished his Legends Cape, or Legends Quest, and got the cape, and then shut the servers down. So he was probably the last person in the game to finish a quest. There's a clip here we have in the show notes. I'm not sure if it's the one I'm thinking it is, but if it is, it's like the guy is pretty tearful talking about his history of RuneScape. And I know our fearless leader Magebit did a stream the night before that's probably up on YouTube, or there's a VOD somewhere kind of talking about his feelings with the stream. And I imagine that once he is able to be on the show again, maybe we'll talk about Classic a bit more, because I think it means more to him or people from that era than it does to us, right? Like, at least I don't think none of us actually played Classic when the Classic was Classic, right?
Yeah, no. 07 was about when I joined.
What was that?
Yeah, I must have. Oh, sorry.
I said 07 was about when I started.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And RRman, when did you start?
I think it was 2004, which I think is when RS2 came out. But it might have been like the start of the year.
Yeah, I think RS2 came out right around 2004, like early 2004. I think you're right.
So, yeah, this guy had been around since 2003. And yeah, I watched the clip as well where he was getting really emotional. And then I started getting emotional myself, to be honest, because imagine it. What's going to happen like when our game
right? That's kind of
down.
that's kind of where it really it's like the hardest for me is just like thinking that like yeah someday that's gonna be RuneScape, and I am definitely not emotionally prepared for that moment comes. Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, also 2003. Come on, I think Magebit's been playing since like 2001 or something. Jeez, guy's a noob, total noob.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss Classic. I meant to do like I kind of wanted to mess around the game a bit before it shut down, but I never got the opportunity. And I mean, it wouldn't have meant as much to me. Like, it's hard to go back to a game that's like that and like fully appreciate what it meant. Like, I don't know. Like I said, like I think we all said, like when RS shuts down, I think we'll all be in that same boat of like, whoa, emotions.
It's gonna be one hell of a podcast, I'll tell you.
It is. Hopefully, we've all died of old age by the time it happens. That's the dream.
No longer be RuneScape Weekly. It'll just be weekly.
Oh man, don't do that to me now. Oh, I don't want to think about it anymore. But yeah, now we got to give props to Jagex for actually keeping the servers going. Everyone gives them a lot of shit these days, but that was pretty excellent.
Well, Jagex is a terrible company. I don't know why you're giving them props for anything.
But... I apologize.
Yeah. No, obviously I'm being sarcastic as hell there. They get
yeah, definitely, yeah.
They get too much shit, and it was cool of them to leave it open for that last little bit of time. Cool to let people send it off. I know there were a lot of drop parties in the last month. A lot of people giving away their. I think like near the end, one of the streamers got given a party hat. So there was a lot of just like obviously that shit doesn't matter if the server's about to be shut down.
I think that was actually this guy. Because I watched it was a long stream, so I skipped sort of the end. And he says, "Oh, can someone give me a white party hat? I always wanted a white party hat." And then someone traded it to him in like the last 60 seconds, and that was such an epic moment.
Nice. All right.
He owned one now.
All right, we shall move on to the skilling survey, which RRman, you put this topic in there. I think this was your survey, so maybe you want to say give a summary on this thing, and we can read over it.
It doesn't sound like you guys didn't get the survey. Sounds like not too many people.
I mean, was it an email survey or what?
Yeah, email one. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I if I got an email from Jagex, I wouldn't notice till like 6 months later. So I have no idea.
Pretty much.
That's right. Yeah, I was like scanning the email like every time I did. It was like, is this a scam or is this?
Yeah, their emails, their surveys link to like non-Jagex stuff, non-Jagex websites. So I'm always a little bit sketched out.
Yeah, ever since being on the show, I'm always like, do I click it? So after a while, I finally did it. It's basically about like a new skill for next year. So it's got all those basic questions at the start. But then the best bit was they had actually a description of each of the skills. I don't know if you want to read those out.
But yeah, I just wanted you to give a quick summary. We can go over the questions. This navigator. Oh no, here we go. I figured it out. Okay. So, which of the following statements best describes you? I play RuneScape. I play mostly RuneScape and some old school, an equal mixture. I play mostly old school and some RuneScape. I just play old school. I don't play RuneScape or old school. So you heard it here, old school community. That's right. The game we play is called RuneScape. Your game is called old school RuneScape. Let's remember that. Good distinction. It's been there for a long time. Stop pretending like that's not the case. Thank you. Obviously, I think most of us here would say I just play RuneScape. I guess I could possibly say I mostly play RuneScape and some old school if you count like logging in once every 6 months playing some old school. But yeah. On to the next question. When was the last time you subscribed to RuneScape? I think we can all say we are currently subscribed.
Yep, definitely. 100%.
We've put together a short list of ideas that we are considering to introduce as our new skill. This doesn't mean the skills presented is the final list, but we want to know what you think about each of these. Please rate the potential new RuneScape skills by how much you want to play each one. Okay, so spellcrafting. I don't even know, like, they're not going to give, like, a definition of that.
Skip ahead a few questions, and I've put a screenshot of each of the skills.
Yeah, just read off the skills, and they give a little summary underneath them.
So they want you to pick a skill based off the name, and then they describe them.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice.
It's a weird order. Okay, so spellcrafting. Am I interested in it? It sounds like a combat skill, so I'm gonna give that one like a 2 on my book as to what I think the game wants. So we're gonna follow the survey order, even though it's silly. Right, what do you think, RRman? What did you give the idea of spellcrafting?
Yeah, I thought this was completely useless. So I dropped it right to the bottom for this one.
All right, so the score is 1 to 10, Derp. 1 being wouldn't play at all, 10 being definitely would play. Where would you score spellcrafting just based off the name?
Spellcrafting. I mean, it sounds like the invention of magic. So it'll probably be like a 3.
All right.
3 or 4.
Next thing we have here is animal training. Again, this sounds like summoning 2.0, but I don't know. I think I would probably give this one like a 6 or a 7, somewhere around there. What about you, RRman?
I think I gave it a. I went ahead and sort of checked the rest of them, but I think I gave this one a 7 because out of all of them, it was kind of cool. But I hope they don't call it animal training.
Yeah. What about you, Derp Dragon? What would you give that one?
0.
0. Wow, that's.
Especially knowing what they've released about player-owned farms coming up. A soon-to-come topic.
Not excited about player-owned farms. Wow.
No, I am. That's why the skill seems kind of irrelevant.
So this next one is called me chanting. I'm guessing they forgot an R there and meant merchanting, but it literally says me chanting. So merchanting. Well, to me, this sounds like a skill that would basically be player-owned ports, and AKA would be like fake currency and not actual RSGP. So I would probably give it a 1 just based on that idea. But if I have the wrong idea and it was actually a way to make money, then I would be all for it. What about you, RRman?
I think I gave this one a 5 because I had no idea what it would actually be, but I was like, could be interesting.
Sounds just like what RuneScape needs, another closed economy.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly my worry here. And people would probably, JX would probably poll it. Do you want a closed or open economy? Everyone would vote closed, just like they do with every other poll, and then it would come out, and 6 months later, everyone would be like, "Why is it a closed economy? It's so boring." That's exactly what happened with the Ark. Like, if you go back and listen to even like old episodes of RS Weekly, there were a lot of people who were fans of the closed economy, and now I think everybody realizes it was a bad idea because it makes the content die super fast. As soon as you have all the rewards, what's the point in going back?
That's the one.
Yep.
It's also missed one. There's necromancy that was on at the bottom of the last screen.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. The very bottom.
It is there. I don't know what screen you're looking at, but I'm just looking at all of the stuff, and it's right next to merchanting.
Yeah, I'm going through the order. You all are like ahead of me in screenshots, looking at descriptions and stuff. That's cheating. We're going through the order in which the screenshots are in this document, which I don't know if they're actually in order, but it sounded like they were. All right, the next skill is sailing. Sailing, to me, I mean, it sounds interesting and cool, but I don't think the engine could make it actually interesting and cool. Like, I want this, but I'm so skeptical that it would be good that I kind of don't want it. So it's either like a 5 or a 1 for me, because I want it, but I might not play because it sounds like hell. What about you, RRman?
I gave it a 7 because I think at this point it would just be a laugh if they actually put it in the game. So, but there's so much like player imports and the arc. We almost sort of have it already. The only thing we don't have is physically being on a ship and moving it around. So,
which would be the worst part in this engine.
Yeah,
like, it wouldn't feel
exactly.
the tile-based movement system. Like sailing around would just feel broken. It wouldn't feel fun.
We'd be moving around like a chessboard.
Yep. What about you, Derp?
You guys pretty much summed up my thoughts on it. Be a 1, a 5 just for the memes, but pretty much a 1.
All right. The next skill we got here is archaeology. Now this one, me, is intriguing. This sounds like a super skilly skill, to put it bluntly. Like, as much as invention is good now, like, it's weird. Like, invention doesn't feel like its own skill, right? Like, because the way you train it is just by playing the game the way you normally would. And sure, like, if you want invention perks, basically the way you interact with invention is by getting perks, which is, like, getting perks is not fun. It's the opposite of fun. It's frustrating. At least to me personally. Like, it's like so RNG based, it doesn't feel like that engaging or anything like that.
What really irks me is the time gate on creating stuff. Like the time between creation of items or I don't remember what they're called, but things you put the perks onto. Like the fact you have to wait for disassembly and everything like that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Definitely could have been a lot simpler.
All right. So where would you score archaeology, RRman?
She gave this one a 10 because without any information on it, I thought it sounded cool and it sounded the most unique.
Yeah, I guess I didn't give my number. I would probably give it a 9 or a 10 too. It does sound like the most unique and the most like it. It'd be cool if they made it a way to like travel the world again. Obviously I think people would still use teleports, but it'd kind of be cool if this skill was designed in a way where you couldn't use teleports to do it. Because it would make the game. I mean, I say this often, but I think teleports in RS are broken. They've gone too far, and they make the game world feel tiny, and that's not a good thing for the health of the game. Like, I honestly think it hurts population when you have like where you can teleport like anywhere in the game instantly. Like, it makes it feel like you're not actually playing in an MMO. You're just like moving from instance to instance, and I wish that they would honestly just remove a shit ton of teleports, and I would be happy.
Yeah, like there's so many awesome ideas that could come from this. Like, and you could think of maybe like you go and search for like an artifact, and then you can't teleport because it would like break the ancient artifact that's really fragile or something, and then they could remove the teleports.
Yep, like you have to go all the way to like Uglog to get this artifact. So sure, you can teleport to Uglog to get it, but then you have to take it back to the Viraki Museum, and you have to walk back because of the fact that it would break. That's kind of what I was thinking too. I think that would be a good way to handle it. Make you have to explore the world again, and maybe make it like, make it like a 5-piece artifact. So like, okay, you found the first piece, now you need to go to Yanil and get the second piece, or like whatever, something like that. That I think people would probably it would probably never happen because the secretary suggested that idea. People would riot about this whole no teleport thing.
Yeah.
But I think this is a case where you have to not listen to the players to actually do what is good for the players. Because, of course, like, in a vacuum, teleporting everywhere sounds awesome. And, all this quick travel. But then you look at, like, how it affects your immersion of the game, and that's where the issue comes in. That's where I think, that's why, game developers have to make a choice instead of letting everything be a player choice. I mean, like, famously, like 4 years ago, World of Warcraft removed flying from the beginning of the game. Like, you can't, to get flying in that game, you now have to complete the entire new area, and it doesn't come out until like 6 months after a new expansion. So you can't fly around, and they did that because it was immersion breaking. And teleporting is even worse than flying, because at least with flying, you're actually seeing the world. Whereas with teleporting, you're literally just skipping from place to place. Anyways, Derp, what are your thoughts on archaeology? Where would you rate it on a potential new skill, 1 to 10?
This one is the one that sounds the most viable to turn into a skill. So I'd say like 7, 8, pretty high.
All right, cool. And then yeah, we have necromancy as the last one. I would vote for this if we hadn't just got invention. Like, I like the idea of necromancy, but invention is basically a combat skill. There is more skilling stuff in it now, but the best way to train it by far is combat. The thing it augments the most by far is combat. So I really want another non-combat skill in the game. So like the next skill after this one, sure, make necromancy. That sounds great to me. But for this one, I would probably give it a 1, not because I wouldn't use it ever, but because I don't want it to be the next skill. What about you, RRman?
Yeah, necromancy's always seemed to me like it would just be a part of magic. It's like I don't think it's really big enough to be a skill, so I think I gave it a 3.
I think it could be. I mean, like I imagine. Well, it depends how they do it, because it's like,
yeah.
To me, it definitely is like a subset. It is a subset of magic, but if you're the way I see it, it would be summoning like undead creatures to help you fight. And I honestly don't know how they would translate that into a RuneScape world. Like, obviously we have summoning, but you wouldn't want it to be that similar to summoning. And also, like, the only way necromancy is like actually useful is if it's like more DPS. But maybe what they would do is make a fourth combat style. Maybe that's what you do with necromancy. So you have magic ranged melee and necromancy. Maybe that's how you do it. Because I was thinking you would have it augment, whichever style you're using. But maybe the best way to do it is to make it its fourth and make it its own.
They probably have to just sort of fix up summoning before they think about necromancy.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great with the community. I mean, we're going to talk about this a bit later with like people being impatient, but the community is not even patient enough to wait for the mining and smithing rework. Like, you look at how, like, last year when Jagex pulled the mining and smithing rework, they said, hey, we're going to have to either do updates slower until we have this update done, because an entire team is going to have to work on this for like a year, or we can do a quick update to this and you can get more updates. And the entire community rioted and said, nope, you have to do the whole thing. And I was there too. I wanted the entire skill. But now people are complaining that
it's not here
yet. Not that it's not here yet, but the updates have slowed down, right? Like,
yeah.
and it's like Jagex said, the updates would slow down if they focus on mining and smithing. That's literally what they said. So you can't complain about something that they made very clear to you was going to be the case, and it's frustrating because Jagex can't actually win. Like, people want in-depth skill reworks, which, like, as they've said, the mining and smithing rework is essentially making 2 new skills. Not even essentially, it is. It is the work of making 2 new skills in the game. They're overhauling every mechanic in both of those skills, and and that's what people don't get, the size of a project like that. But anyway, yeah. So Derp, where would you score necromancy?
Sounds cool, but also sounds not able to fit in with RuneScape in its current state.
Gotcha.
So pretty low. I don't know if I put a number on it though. But the first thing that came to mind, I forgot. First thing came to mind, Dimension of the Damned, anyone?
Huh? Yes.
Instead of player-owned ports, you have player-owned Dimension of the Damned. That's what necromancy is for.
I think it could make the most sense as a 4th combat style. It would give new rewards faced for new types of weapons and stuff, new types of armor that could be put into it. Like, that's what I would, if I was going to make necromancy, I'd make it a 4th combat style that was based around summoning creatures to fight for you. I think that's how you do it.
I feel like summoning would have to go then.
Well, but summoning helps with any skill, right? Like, or helps with any combat style. Whereas necromancy, the way you would fight stuff would be like I summon an undead werewolf and I send it into battle for me. So it's basically like another range skill where like you're standing back and just like summoning creature after creature and putting it in there.
Like Pokemon.
That's kind of how I see it. Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. They just the amount of effort it would take to revamp, like to add that into the game, and they'd have to rebalance summoning and rebalance combat triangle. They would also have to get into having multiple followers, more than one followers, and what overrides would work and how the AI would work and everything, and that would just
Yeah, I mean it would be a lot of work, and who knows if that's the concept they're even thinking of, but that's how I imagine it working in some way. Yeah, or even like if you summon one creature at a time, and then your goal is to just like buff that creature for the entire fight and like keep it alive. You're basically like healing it and keeping it alive while it's fighting, and then if it dies, you have to summon it again, and that's kind of a penalty to your DPS or something. I don't know. That's to me the most interesting way to do necromancy, is I think that makes it the furthest from summoning, where summoning is a skill that piggybacks off of other skills. If you make necromancy a skill that is meant to be piggybacked off of, that is meant to have meant to be the main skill being used, then it's a bit more interesting. But I definitely agree that it's complicated. All right. What kind of Samaya we think of the following skills? We've already basically covered that part. Now let's describe each skill. Archaeology. Uncover Gillinor's secrets. Travel on expeditions across RuneScape, discovering long-lost treasures, secrets hidden in dangerous tombs, and ancient blueprints. Uncover forgotten histories and stumble upon centuries-old mysteries that spur you into action across the world. Head into the Lost Temple to overcome various traps, puzzles, and guardians. Prepare to be chased by boulders with your pockets full of useful artifacts to help your adventures. Okay, that sounds like invention. Almost.
Sounds like many things. It sounds a bit like dungeoneering, but agility there.
It does.
Like that.
I mean, that's the thing they haven't told us. Are these all supposed to be elite skills? Because I can kind of see.
They never actually mention elite skills, I don't think, but that's sort of how I take them.
Yeah, because they all almost sound like that. Like, yeah, like you're right. With archaeology, it'd be like agility, dungeoneering, invention would be. Well, actually, invention wouldn't be one of them because it is an elite skill. But like, trying to think of a third one. But yeah, some other third skill like hunter maybe, agility, hunter, and dungeoneering would all be.
The spell crafting sounds like invention for magic.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to read this next description of sailing, RRman?
Because I love it so much. Okay, set sail. You need a break. Yeah, it's all right. Set sail onto the unknown bounds of the seas of Gillinor. Discover islands, maps, its secrets, and find opportunities to tease by establishing trade routes. See, you're right. It did sound like sort of a miscellanea, but that sort of thing. But so yeah. I'm into that. Yeah, but beware of the many dangers that lurk out in the big blue. Upgrade your ships and take on various ocean-based challenges. Pirate ships, sea monsters, and treacherous storms stand between you and infamy. Yeah, discover new islands filled with a variety of content and salvage sunken wrecks. But perhaps the most important thing is how did I mess that up? Recover their many treasures. See, it sort of just sounds like ports, but you just do it yourself instead of sending them out.
Yeah, I mean, but we have to realize that we are kind of at that place in RuneScape. Like, there's not gonna be a brilliant new idea that doesn't have similarities to something else, right? Like even like divination. Divination is called air fishing for a reason. Like
for a reason.
Like there's not.
I've actually never heard that.
Oh you haven't? Okay. But yeah, there's not like a giant missing concept for them. Like there's not like a skill that they forgot to put in the game that's gonna like all of a sudden come up and they're gonna have this brilliant idea and be able to make it. Like we are at the point where stuff is going to sound similar to other stuff, and I think that sailing would probably take place in player-owned ports, I would imagine. you would probably set sail from your port. I would hope, at least. And then, but you would actually have to captain the ship and do stuff. I mean, this sounds great, but I just don't think the engine could actually pull it off. Like, they would have to prove to me the engine could actually do this before I wanted it to be in game.
So if this was an elite skill, what skills would it be? Fishing, construction?
Yeah, fishing, construction, and fire making. I don't know. Wood cutting. Wood cutting.
Wood cutting, yeah.
All right. Do you mind reading the next one too?
I'll try. I'll try not. Animal training. Find, capture, and tame wild animals. Then train them with various skills assisting you in your adventure. Find new pets across the world. Use your existing pets to train together and against other pet trainers. You see, Pokemon.
Yeah, it's 100% Pokemon.
I really love it, eh? But
don't they have pet battling in World of Warcraft?
They do.
Do they?
Sounds quite similar.
How does it work? Is it like you pick a move like Pokemon, or is it?
It's like a straight Pokemon ripoff.
Oh, that's pretty epic. Become stronger and trade for new pets to take part in worldwide pet tournaments. No. Oh my gosh. Wait, hang on. Now they're just taking the piss. Evolve your animals to their peak and become masters of beasts. Then head out to discover rare and unique creatures. Can you tame them too? Okay, this is Pokemon. This is now I want it more.
I want the legendaries now.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean this.
Whatever my score was, it's a 10. It's a 10 now.
Okay. This. I think you gave this one a 0 initially.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's a big change. No, I like this idea once again, but I don't see how execution lives up to this, and that's where I'm trying to see all of these from. Like, yeah, or where, like, what are, like, most skills serve a purpose outside of the skill, right? This almost sounds like a mini game more than a skill. I don't know. Maybe
it's
I'm
not like they haven't
harsh.
done. It's not like they haven't done that before. Dungeoneering.
Yeah, but now we have elite dungeons, so we can't say that about dungeoneering anymore. We have multiple ways to train the skill. It's now actually.
Never forget.
It's now actually a skill.
Never forget. Never forget your roots.
Never forget your roots. But yeah, I mean this. Yeah, engine limitations, how they're going to make it actually feel interactive, what's actually going to be the end reward. Like, I could see a place where this is cool, but also I could see a place where this is, I don't even know what to compare it to, like, but where it's just kind of a flop. Next we have.
Hey, by the way, before we move on, what did you ever play it in World of Warcraft? Was it any good?
I didn't play it that much. I don't know. It's been years since I've played any of it.
Yeah.
This skill summary thing is way longer than I expected, man. Any topics on this show? Maybe like a 4-hour show, and I don't have the voice for this. Alright. My voice is like already cracking if you can't tell.
Yeah.
Necromancy. Raise an undead army to do your bidding. Skeletons, zombies, and other undead creatures can be under your command. Learn a series of new spells to communicate with dead and reanimate long fallen creatures. Perform ancient rituals to bolster your unliving creatures to provide buffs to you and your friends. Not only is this, you'll be able to reanimate dead monsters to learn more about them and perhaps resurrect long dead heroes. Alright, so that description is summoning. Like, to a T.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, I changed my mind on this skill. If they want to make it summoning 2.0, then it's way less fun than a new combat style.
Yeah, the way you described it was actually better, I think.
Alright, let's go on to me chanting. A merchanting. They actually spelled it right here, though. Establish a growing business empire in towns across the world. In town across the world. Invest in goods from across the world, sources of special items from boss monsters, then open up your own player-owned shop. Buy up businesses and hire staff to run them. Make decisions on their stock and hire NPCs to manage these shops. ring your shops for as much profit as you can. Merchanting is more than money making. It's about building a trade empire. If this is actually a money making skill, I'm all here for it, honestly. It's actually about making real GP and not some closed economy bullshit. I'm totally here for the idea. Although, again, like, it's hard. I feel like when they first pitch a new skill, they go like over top with the pitch. Like with invention, with any skill, they're like, here's our like pie in the sky idea, and they don't think about like the actual engine limitations, or like
classic JX,
or like how it fits into an MMO. Like this sounds great, but how does it work in an MMO? Like who's gonna buy stuff from your shops? Like this is just gonna be another theory crafted skill where it's like, oh, you want these 5 NPCs and you want to stock these 5 items because they make you the most money. So like, is that fun? That's kind of what I worry about with this
it sounds like at this point they're at the stage of development where they're literally not considering that. They're just tossing ideas onto a board and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, definitely. But polling, I don't like. I guess this is like a limited email poll, so it's okay. But it's just like polling these is not necessarily a great idea.
True.
Spellcrafting. Experiment with magic to discover new spells and effects to benefit your adventuring career. Research the history of magical discovery. Use this knowledge to bind magic into items to create powerful magical artifacts. So invention. Pick a school of magic to master. Discover new runes. So invention. Pick a school. That pick a school of magic to master thing would be brought into the game and then would be ditched later on as they realized it was a bad idea. AKA the invention. What are those things called?
The trees?
The tech trees, yep. Which we were supposed to have like 5 tech trees by now, and we still have 2. I don't think anyone... I have yet to even do either of my tech trees because it's a fucking daily, and who cares? Discover new runes. Build new and crazy spells from different magical components. Invention. Become the master of magic and bend its power to your will. You were more right than I expected. That is basically like invention, the magic skill.
So we've had Pokemon, and now we've got Harry Potter. Where else are we taking this stuff from? Where's the Star Wars skill?
I don't know. I want the Star Wars skill though. I'm here for it. If you give me a lightsaber in game, I'm down. All right. Well, we will. There's more questions, but I think they're just like trying to gauge general interest after that, and I think we've covered the meat of the topic. So I guess those are the skills that Jax is considering making in the game at some point. Yeah. We will move on to August, the month ahead stream summary. Loading screens are slow. Okay. Does one of you two want to start reading some of this? I don't know, Derp, are you cool with reading some of this? I know you're newer to the show, so I don't know how you feel about.
I am currently at the last boss of Elite Dungeon 2. Give me 3 minutes and I will. For now, I think RRman should go through with it.
Oh, great.
I'll pick up the next one.
All right. Let's see. What have we got here? Okay, so the start of this, they were talking about tap, and I guess we remove that topic for later, but I guess we can talk about that now.
Exactly why it was removed.
Yeah. So it's paused until the start of next year. And a lot of people misconstrued it as being cancelled. So there must have been a lot of Reddit rage. I don't often keep up with it. I suppose that's what happened.
Oh, there was a ton of Reddit rage.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are they doing instead? Well, do you know?
Read what they're saying, and then you'll find out.
Oh, okay. So I'm useless at this. I'm not very good at reading. It's pretty clear if you're in the RuneScape bubble that we're not nailing everything at the moment. So part of it is to make sure that if we focus on certain things, we'll get it right. And mobile is a part of that. Oh, okay, so yep, so they're working on mobile. Okay, yeah. We're looking to maintain the spirit of TAP by making sure passion projects still exist and happen in our schedule. Judges. What was it? Judges? What is this?
Is that close enough?
is that the name of one of their little teams? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be looking to do smaller projects towards the end of the year, which could include personal passion projects. Bring passion projects to the team will have a greater chance that it leads somewhere, I suppose. It's temporarily gone, but passion projects haven't. Okay.
Well, so I mean, basically they said the community kind of lost their shit and was like, all the best updates of the past 10 years have come from TAP. Getting rid of TAP is going to destroy the game. Nothing good is ever going to come out again. Was basically the reaction, to give it a quick summary, which was obviously a major overreaction. Like, there is, like, yes, good updates have come out of TAP, but like people were even talking about, like, AOD started the TAP project and Solak started the TAP project. And sure they did, but the majority of work for those things was not done in TAP. Like, that seems to be what people don't get. Like, they're still gonna be making new bosses, they're still gonna be making new quests. Like, those big form updates are just gonna start in a different way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, there's this idea that TAP is like just like the end all be all for things, and like it's not. Like as they've said, passive products are still going to be a thing. Like, you're still going to be able to pitch your idea. You're just, instead of having like Solak took what, like a year and a half to do or something like that. So instead of RRman spending 6 months on Solak alone, he will pitch the idea to his team, and if it's liked enough, they'll make it together and it'll be out quicker. That's basically what they're trying to say. Is like they're trying to get ideas out quicker. They're also, like they said, the Jutsters are going to be a team that's going to be working on. The Judges are the team that is making player-owned farms. So after player-owned farms, their next few months is basically going to be finding every TAP project in the building that's like popular or near being done and like finishing them and getting them out. So we're going to see a lot of smaller updates in the next few months. It's kind of their plan as a way to basically get more updates out, because the community has been complaining that there aren't enough updates. So this is basically a move to guarantee that more stuff comes out. Like, good stuff comes out of TAP, but most of TAP is scrapped. Like, that's the thing people don't realize. Like, I would say a large majority of TAP projects we probably never even hear about because they're just failures, because they're not.
I feel like they could calmed everyone down if they'd given us a number, because you're right, it's probably like 20% of that's just the number I pulled on my butt, but that's probably about, most of the things would just be tossed aside and all that. And it's not like it's been cancelled. That first sentence, it's paused until the start of next year. That's what people should have realized.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's people going hyperbolic, and I mean, like, originally it was like one JMod making a there was a JMod making a post that the people then took out of context and made like sound worse than what it was originally meant to sound, which is like what always happens, which is why some JMods don't talk on Reddit, because like the community overanalyzes literally everything they say and gets angry when it's not exactly what they thought it was. It's kind of just another case of that. Alright, so some of you may have noticed player counts, etc. Most by player count and etc. that the Twitch Prime has been going really well. It's a really positive thing with a lot of new and returning players. We're waiting for a certain mobile milestone to hit, which will free up some engine budget. Top of our list for using that budget is bank placeholders and group RRman. And I hate this part. Like,
group RRman?
No. Let me finish and then we will know.
Sorry.
Well, I do hate group RRman because they have now the mode's not going to be like, they've said that they can't make shared banks a thing anymore, which to me makes the mode useless. Like, if I can't have a shared bank, I'm not ever going to play that mode. If it had a shared bank, I was actually interested. But no, like, when they first started talking about a bank rework, they said it's impossible for us to do these features one by one. And now they've been doing these features one by one, and that frustrates me to no end. Like,
what do you mean? Like, what type of features one by one?
Well, we got the stuff like storing stuff in your player-owned house, and storing it at Diango can now be done from the bank. But it's also a half-assed feature, because the way that feature should work, to me at least, is if I bank a skilling outfit, it should just go back to Django. It shouldn't take up space in my bank, but instead I have to delete it. Same with player-owned house stuff. If I want to store something in my player-owned house, I have to actually like manually go through that process. Where what I want is that system to be automated. So that just feels like a half-assed update. Now they're talking about adding in placeholders now instead of when they did the bank rework. When they originally said, they literally said, to my memory, that placeholders were impossible without a bank rework. And now they're saying, oh no, we can make that happen without a bank rework. And it's frustrating. Like, I want to see the full bank rework. I do not want, like, the bank rework is basically becoming a what do they used to call the old updates that were in parts, whatever the hell those were called?
Batch.
Yeah,
Batches.
We're basically getting bank rework batch updates, which is a bit frustrating. And maybe it's what they have to do, but it to take like the number one requested player idea and make it a batch update doesn't feel great. And so there's a little bit of frustration there. And I don't want to come down too harshly because I feel like most of the community like roasts Jagex like on an epic level, so I'm trying to be a bit tempered here and not like, it's not the end of the world, but it is frustrating that they're batching this update. Alright, retrospect post on Rune Pass is being written up and will be released soon. Well, it's been about a month and we still haven't seen that. Idols don't really have much room for improvement. They fill a niche. They fill a niche they were supposed to, and I agree. People expected idols to be like end game content, and they're not really supposed to be.
Yeah, those boosts. They just need to be. Didn't Pern suggest they should be like bottled and you should use them whenever you want? Is that how they work, or?
No, it's not how they work. I mean, that would be nice, but I think it would possibly be too powerful then. So maybe that's why they're not doing it. I don't know. I'm sure they have like balance reasons for not wanting to do that. Unfinished business. I mean, it's kind of like like people probably want the same thing for like Ephicxstix caches, right? Like if you could like bottle your Ephicxstix cache boost, that would be nice too. But I think they want it to be part of the way you play. Is you go there, you get a random thing, and then you go that activity. Some people don't like that, but that's kind of how the content was designed to work. Whereas if you make it bottleable, then what you do is people will just, whatever boost they want, they'll just bottle that one and then use it. Whereas like
sell them.
Supposed to be like an RNG aspect to it here. What are you saying?
You said you could bottle up. What if you could sell them?
I mean, it would be an interesting concept. I think it would just fundamentally change what the update was meant to be, but maybe that's okay. I mean, maybe it would be a decent way to make some money. I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
I'm thinking about all those type of boosts, like evil trees, Ephicxstix caches. Like you could actually have a reason to do evil trees. And I don't know if the Comet does any boosts like that. The Fallen Star. But anyways, I was just thinking that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Unfinished business. Unfinished business was more of a list of things than everything we have ever said in the past. Yeah, that's another thing. People have like taken unfinished business to mean any promise Jagex has ever made is gonna be put in the game now, when unfinished business was like, it's basically a project name. Like, our project is called Unfinished Business, and this is the stuff we're going to do. But people took it to mean, oh, you're gonna fix everything. Which again, it's like, I don't know, this community over interprets everything that Jagex says. And I don't know, it's like a gaming problem in general, where people like especially with a game like this, where like Jagex, the way Jagex develops RuneScape is basically they tell us everything in advance of actually even starting to make a lot of stuff, and they start to make it and it doesn't work as they expect. Like, we were talking about this with like, you know, new skills like Invention. When it was first announced, it was this pie in the sky idea, and then, you know, development actually happens and you realize what is and isn't possible. And it's hard to translate that to players, that's how development works. Whereas if you're a developer, you get that. If you're someone who is in the field a lot, you get that. And like, that's why a lot of games companies like don't talk about stuff that much. But even like some that are super quiet, like look at Blizzard, right? Blizzard is a super quiet company, they still have projects that failed. There's like updates that have been announced for like new WoW expansions that have never come out because the idea just didn't work. But it happens far less often with Blizzard because Blizzard usually doesn't talk about a product until it is, in active development and like they already know the scale of it. Whereas with how quickly RuneScape updates come out and like the turnaround, like RuneFest every year, you have to have something to talk about there. But the updates aren't made yet because the way Jagex works is that like they're literally making an update until like the week before it comes out. They are still working on it because they release updates so often. If you have an expansion model of a game, you can take more time in the background, and there go the fire trucks, everybody.
They're coming for you.
Fire trucks are coming for me. That's right.
Oh, they're fire trucks.
Because you're so
I think it was actually
on
an
fire.
ambulance and not a fire truck.
I hope it's not coming for you then.
We feel like we've done a good job on that list, aka the unfinished business list. Bank rework, admittedly, this is the headliner we haven't. We're looking at placeholders once we hit the mobile milestone. Please don't do placeholders, do the bank rework. Mine and Scythian is in full development. Yes, it is. Treasure Trails rework is released. Daily Scrape restrictions. It was such a big project that they've broken it down into smaller things. Invention Batch 2 is released. Evil Dave Quest is released. Achievement rework is released. Graphical rework, they are doing them. The dragons are being done with Elite Dungeons. Sears Village, the bar that we were aiming for moved up as we were working on it, so a lot of the work we put into Sears is no longer up to standard. It was a tumultuous time with the art department, and as well as with them changing process and adopting to new industry standard technologies. I think that's a big thing people miss too, is like NXT has been out for a few years, but on the back end, JX is still updating its tool set. Like, give it like 2 or 3 more years, and the quality of like areas we see in the game is just gonna be even vastly different than like what we're getting now, or like like the Port Sarim rework. I mean, like compare the Falador rework that was 2 years ago to Menophoth, for example. Like that's how far we've gone in that short amount of time as to what's possible. Like the Falador rework, it's honestly not a big change. That like the Falador still looks. I mean, it looks better than what it used to, but it doesn't look like a modern game's graphics. You go to Menophoth, that place looks like it could fit in a much more modern game as far as the quality of graphics there. So I think that's part of what's happening there, is they're moving a lot of those standards forward, moving to new tools, getting off of all, like, we've heard before that, like, back in the day, and even up until recently, and probably on the old school team, like, they don't use industry standard tools to make this stuff. There's in-house tools that were made by the Gowers, because the Gowers did not want to use industry standard tools, which is a terrible idea, by the way, to make your own tools for a lot of this stuff, because it makes stuff take way more time. But yeah, so RuneScape is moving away from that, and that's just going to take time. Combat pets are released. Shattered World improvements. They are looking at improving minigames as a whole. Dev-wise, Shattered World improvements are done, just needs QA work. Chaotic upgrades. Timbo is open to the idea of chaotic upgrades, but doesn't know what niche they would fill. So they are looking into that idea of allowing basically chaotics to be useful again. We're looking into helping the RS content community, looking at what we can do to make streaming better. One issue is having such customizable interface makes it hard for viewers. Maybe a static interface for streaming, which, I mean, they could do that, but people wouldn't use it. I mean, like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, if you're watching the live stream, you can see what my UI looks like, and I think a lot of high-end PVMers would hate it, but I purposely designed it in such a way that it looks appealing to me, and I did that before I started streaming, so it wasn't like a looks appealing to streamers thing, but I tried to lessen the amount of stuff, because a lot of streamers literally have like half to like a third of their UI or a third of their screen is just UI elements. Like most people have the entire bottom of their screen is filled with windows, and then the entire right hand side of the screen is filled with windows, and that to me looks like hot garbage. And I think that's part of the problem with why RS. You go watch like I'm not even sure if the RS guy's a good example, but you go watch someone like the RS guy who's doing endgame PVM, and literally a third of their screen is just UI elements, and it does not it's not like good for watching at all. It's way too much, and I mean even I don't like I play the game and I don't want to stare at like a third of the screen being UI elements.
Yeah, less is more, people. Less is more.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna skip a bunch of this stuff because a lot of this has already come out, but there was parts of this I wanted to cover. So the teams, there's been a lot of question about what is going on with the teams at Jagex. So Derp Dragon, are you not busy now?
Yeah, I'm good, but the teams area of it?
Yeah, just go ahead and read that, and I'm gonna go get some more water while you do that.
All right. So is this just an update on what they're doing with the teams now?
Yeah, it looks like it. They've got the list of them here.
So each team includes 3 devs. QA, design, art are pulled separately, meaning they're roughly the same size. Huh. Okay. Mining and smithing rework. It's been an Excel project since work started last year. What does that mean? Do you know? Excel project?
I think it's just
extra large.
It's huge, extra large. I assume this team has just been on that the whole time.
Oh, the extra large, is that the team? Excel is the team? Okay.
Oh,
My
is it?
bad.
I thought it was extra large.
I
But I suppose the team is just called mining and smithing. I thought they had fancy names.
Apparently, they started work last year only. Player-owned farms. After Team Rejig, I hope I'm reading that right, they will be taking on an XL project that will be announced at RuneFest. Mod Timbo will be joining them for this project. So, get ready for RuneFest. They're going to be announcing what the player-owned farm team will be moving on to. Mod Erators team, currently working on a large project for this year that will be announced at RuneFest. Will also produce Christmas content, likely a quest, also to be announced at RuneFest. Oof, lots of stuff to look forward to a RuneFest that I'm not going to that day. Elite Dungeon 2. Since there's a gap between Elite Dungeon 2 and 3, the team will be working on some medium to small size updates for this year that will be announced at RuneFest. This includes at least one quest. We'll look at taking various game jam, tap, and certain projects that are nearly but not quite finished. We'll try to do needle skips, hoping to do more. Do you know what needle skips is?
Oh, no, I wish Hana was here to say something. What is a needle skips?
I don't know.
But that's pretty cool. So people who have been complaining about quests, there will be apparently at least one quest for this year by the Elite Dungeon team.
Well, I'm confused because I thought that's saying that the Elite Dungeon team is going to be making tap projects, which is interesting because I thought that was going to be the player-owned farm team, but I guess I was wrong. Sorry, I interrupted you in what you were saying.
Well, I think what it says here is in the gap between Elite Dungeon 2 and 3, they'll be filling that gap with other projects.
Yeah.
The leftover tap stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that there's at least 2 people, so I guess they're changing up teams. I think there's at least 2 people who are going to be leaving the team that worked on player-owned farms. Like I think Mod Raven and someone else, and they're going to be doing a lot of tap stuff from what I remember. Maybe they're joining the Elite Dungeons team in some way. I don't know. I watched this stream, but it's been 2 weeks now, so it's hard to remember the details. But yeah, they said on the stream there's going to be multiple quests in this year still.
And I just realized each team includes 3 devs. That's 3 devs. If I'm reading that right, then that's crazy. 3 devs for huge pieces of content like mining and smithing or the 3 elite dungeons. It's impressive.
Yeah.
But on to the last 2. The Ninja team is currently working on the Quest Point shop. They'll also do Premier Club exclusive content and ninja fixes as per usual. And then Team 6 is doing events work, including new promos. Mod Kylar will be moving over at some point since the team only has 2 devs.
Yeah, I mean, like, they basically laid this out because of the backlash to TAP being canceled, aka postponed. They laid this out because the community was kind of saying that there was basically speculation that no one was working on the game anymore. Was basically people were like, it's only a skeleton crew working on RuneScape. They've given up on the game. They're moving on to old school and the new MMO, which is hilarious to say because despite old school having a larger player base, RS still makes more money. So they are not gonna give up on this game. That would make 0 sense for them to do, and we can. First of all, I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. The currently online player numbers is not an accurate representation of how many people are playing a game or how many people are subbed to a game. It is very well likely that the amount of people who play RS play the game for less time per day, whereas the old school players probably play the game way more time per day. Mostly due to the fact that old school is 5 years old and RS is 17 years old. There's a big difference in how much time people have put into each game and where they are in combat levels and the amount of quests done and all that shit. It basically old school is in the it's funny, it's in the 2006 2007 era of what if we had a time machine and went back to that time in RS, then people would be playing the game way more often because first of all, younger audience, the content was newer, less people were maxed, all that kind of stuff. That's where old school sits today because it was a complete and utter fresh restart of the game. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind. And I'm not saying that old school does not have a larger community. Obviously they do, but knowing what that difference is, I think is over exaggerated by a lot of people.
Their old school is still in the waning phases of the honeymoon phase of the relationship.
I guess. Yes, maybe. Yeah. So that is everything we're gonna cover from this. Obviously, there's a lot of they talk about the stuff ahead in August. We're near the end of August now. This was a really good stream. I mean, all the last couple months of streams have been really good. I feel like Jagex has been really open about what they're saying, which is honestly probably bad for them because being open generally just leaves you open for misinterpretation and doesn't actually work. But for someone like me, it makes me happy to see them being this open, but it's generally not good from a developer standpoint because usually that means the community just rips you apart when you don't deliver on everything. Which, speaking of, that leads directly into our next topic. Jagex, in the upcoming RuneFest, do not reveal another 5-year plan when you can't even deliver consistent updates on a monthly basis. A plethora of recycled events, an embarrassingly forced double XP weekend, and only one substantial piece of content yet to be seen within 2 months. Pathetic. Don't try to sprint when you can't even crawl, JX. For the upcoming RuneFest, inform us why you've been shitting the bed. Is it because of an allocation of resources to other departments? If this is the case, show us where our money is going. Because it sure as fuck doesn't seem like it's being invested back into the game. You're not interested in the grand 5-year skilling plan. because we know next to none of that will come to fruition. Your words for the future of RS is meaningless at this point. Your paying customers deserve to know what's really happening. And this is
as a note.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just let me. As a note, this was 3 weeks ago, so the day before that other post we read.
Yeah, this was the day before the stream. This was in response
Yeah.
to Tap being canceled. This is kind of this post has almost 1,000 upvotes.
This was before that post.
That's insane, eh?
Well, this was before the Tap is canceled post. You're talking about this before the month ahead stream.
Yes.
The
I'm
Tap.
say yes.
The Tap. I asked 2 separate questions. The Tap is canceled. Hype was going on when this post happened.
Oh, okay.
The stream had not happened yet. But I believe that this post is basically directly in response to people learning that quote unquote Tap is canceled.
Yeah.
That I just looked up. No, the Tap cancel was 19 days ago. This post was 20 days ago. So I'm sure that post, the Tap post, didn't help with getting this post uploaded and whatnot.
And this is in response to probably the month ahead video then.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But once again, like, I mean, we've been saying it all show. Like, JX said, hey, updates are going to be slower if we make mine and smithing rework happen. Updates have been slower. Remember the first 6 months of this year when people said this was a great year? And then all it takes is 2 months where there's not...
Oh, not even that, like 1 month, and then everyone just like...
Yeah, you're right.
Loses their
it
mind.
was 1 month, and now it's been 2. And people are acting like it's the end of the world. And part of, like, this guy's post has some truth to it. This idea that, you know, most of their 5-year plan won't happen, absolutely true. But that's how development works, and that's the point that I don't know how you get across to people. Like, you see this with so many video games. If developers talk about the future of their game, it actually causes like, there's a reason. Like, people like to. It was hilarious during this time. My head is jumping all over the place, so I probably am very confusing right now. But someone said that the Gowers were way more open with the community about what they were doing than JX currently is, which is so laughable. Because, like, we found out about the construction update in a teaser a week before construction came out. We had no idea that construction was coming into the game. Like, that's how updates used to happen, and the community was happier for it in some ways because there were no expectations. And I think that's part of what JX is dealing with right now. Is there is too much expectations, and there's people who don't understand that when JX talks about their future plans, of course stuff is going to change because none of that stuff is made yet. And if something is not mostly through development, you do not yet know what is possible with it. And that's basically what's going on here. Is JX is trying to tell us, like, even last RuneFest, there's a lot of people who point out that, like, some of the stuff they promised last RuneFest, like, they promised things like skilling offhands, which they ended up deciding weren't actually useful. I don't know why they decided that, but, like, that kind of stuff is going to happen when you develop something. You gotta start making it, you gotta realize, okay, this doesn't actually work, we're gonna ditch the idea. But you can't communicate that to a player without them getting angry, which is why a lot of dev companies don't talk about stuff until it's done. But if you're a company like Jagex, you either don't talk at all, or if you do talk, you get roasted for it. And that's kind of the unfortunate place. Like, you have to give developers leeway for stuff to not work. That's just how development is. Like, they want to, like, Jagex would love to deliver invention as it was originally promised. But when you realize it is impossible, you can't just, like, make it happen. You can't wish it into existence, right?
Yeah, I think there's a balancing that needs to be done from Jagex on how transparent they are with, like, how much, because I think their openness is a good thing on one hand, but on the other hand, it does bring about failed expectations from the community, even if those expectations are unreasonable.
Yeah.
Like it I feel like they've opened up a bit too much, got a bit too comfortable with just spitballing ideas to the community.
Well, and it's hard because there's a part of the community that says that that's what they want, but then when you do that, there's backlash for it. So like, I completely agree with you. Like, I think, like, to me, like, if I was running Jagex, I would probably make them just stop talking about updates unless they were mostly done. That's what I would do. But that would mean that RuneFest would be boring as hell, right? Like, what would you do at RuneFest if you did that? Like, people love RuneFest, but if you came to RuneFest and they were like, here's what's coming out next month, and that's all they talked about, people would be pissed. But that would be the most realistic thing to do. Whereas when you go to RuneFest, you want to know the plan for the next 6 months, or the next year, or the next 2 years. And if they do that, as the company they are, they can't deliver. Like I said, Blizzard has BlizzCon every year, but they're a AAA developer with thousands of people working for them, so they can announce projects that are like 60-70% done. Jagex is not making, like, the update that comes out 6 months from now is not currently being worked on at Jagex. Or it's in the very early stages. The update that comes out a year from now is 100% not being worked on right now. So they do not know those expectations. Whereas you watch BlizzCon, and they say, hey, Diablo 4 coming out in 2 years. That game is like 70% done by the time they say that to you. So they know what they can promise you, but that's because they're on a different dev cycle. So either Jagex needs to talk less or somehow get ahead of itself, which I don't know how you do, right? Like, if Jagex could bank a bunch of updates and have them done 6 months in advance, that would be great, but that's not how a constant release schedule works. If, like, expansions, I think, was kind of their goal with expansions, was to get to a point where they had updates banked in some ways, and the players didn't like that either because it meant a lot of waiting for an update that might not be for you. Like, Menafos, I don't think was a bad update, but it was not a high level player update. Therefore, the high level player community revolted because they hadn't had an update in 6 months, which in some ways is understandable, but in other ways, it's like you are forgetting that you are not the only players of this game.
Yeah, maybe they're just spreading themselves too thin. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 3 devs working on 5 large to extra large updates. Well, 3 devs for each individual update. Maybe that's, like you said, banking updates, making it so they can say stuff and actually they know that a year in advance they'll be able to follow through with it. Maybe they need to. I don't know.
It would be great to get in that direction. I think it's just...
I just smacked my mic. Did you guys?
I heard something, but nothing loud. So...
Okay, sorry.
It's all good. Yeah. It would be really nice to see something like that. But how do you do it, right? Like, do you stop updating the game for a year altogether so that you can bank updates? Like, cause that's basically what it would take, right? But people wouldn't want to play the game then, and I wouldn't necessarily blame them. Like, they're just in a hard place right now.
Insert joke about how they pretty much have stopped updates for.
What were you saying?
Well, that's the problem. You see, if they stop talking about updates or potential updates, it's just all we get is the microtransactions. That's not going to help them. So they need to be talking about something.
Yep. And I've noticed on microtransactions, I've noticed a big change where, like, so for example, the RuneCapers event that's going on in game right now, it didn't get its own post on the front page of RuneScape. It got put in with this week's update post, which I think is a reaction to the community getting pissed off about how many posts, like a month and a half ago when one of the weekly updates was Rune Pass. I thought that was an interesting change that they made. Anyways, you were saying something else.
Yeah, basically, let's just hope that RuneFest this time around will have a few updates that actually come out a bit quicker. But it looks like they are working on quite a few things in that list we had before, and it sounds like they're going to be announcing things that are actually being worked on now So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah. So the thing I would say, like, I imagine there's people in our audience who probably disagree with the stance we're kind of taking here, and that's completely understandable. But I think we as a community need to give Jagex more leeway for things to not come out the way they were originally pitched. Doesn't mean that we should make excuses for everything. That doesn't mean that there haven't been some fuck ups, that there aren't going to be more. But don't treat RuneFest this year as the word of God is going to happen type of thing. Treat it as this is what they want to do, and they will probably do most of it. It does not mean they will do all of it. Because I agree with them. Like, they delivered most of what they said about RuneFest, most of what they announced at RuneFest last year. But people are still pissed because they didn't deliver all of it. And in one way, I understand that. From a purely I want game content perspective, I understand that. But I also, as someone who has a lot of developer friends and I'm not a developer myself. I'm an amateurish one, but I live in that world quite a bit. I understand the idea of expectations not being met. And you can look at any company. You can, like I said, we've pointed out Blizzard has dropped features off of games. You can look at Apple when they announce a new operating system, and then 6 months later it launches and doesn't have features that they said they were going to be in it. Like, that is just what happens in development. And we have to keep that in mind when we're being promised things that maybe an issue with that update will be discovered. And that's probably why the Gowers, when they ran the company, were so quiet about stuff, because they're actually, even back then, I remember when what was it that came out? I think it was when Construction came out. Construction made my one friend quit the game because he's like, "Oh, the next skill is gonna be summoning. It's gonna be summoning. If it's not summoning, I'm quitting the game." Because back then, like, Construction and summoning were two of, like, the rumored skills to be coming. And then Construction comes out and it's Construction and not summoning. He's like, I'm done. Summoning's not coming out.
He actually left.
Yep.
That's impressive. That's that doesn't normally happen. People are usually just hold here.
Yeah.
Did he come back in a week?
Nope. He never came back.
Wow, that's quite impressive. If we come back to the main topic there, the five-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to remember that it's only been 1/5 of that plan so far, so
right,
they're getting a little bit carried away.
That too, and the 5-year plan was never meant. Like, I don't remember it being very specific either. Like, this post in some ways seems to try to be selling the 5-year plan as some overarching idea for all of Jagex, when really it was like the skilling side of the game being talked about and how they helped to make it more profitable, which to me I think was like a good thing to say.
It was to get the conversation rolling,
Exactly, and to, like, I think to make a commitment to skillers that, hey, we haven't forgotten about skilling and its need for change, right? Like, I think that's what the 5-year plan is. Like, anyways, any other thoughts that people have?
I think we lost Derp. Had to make his call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You lost Derp, but you gained a mage.
Ooh, wow, Magebit sneaking in for the best 2 topics of the show, huh?
Is real world trading legal? I'm just asking for a friend. Anyway.
Oh, that's a good title as well.
I would love to say that that's my joke. It's not. I've seen it a million times, but it deserves to be said a million more times because it's great. Anyway, I have no idea what's left on the show. This just happens to be when my brain will let me process information, so here I am.
I know, but you literally showed up. It was a complete accident, but you literally showed up when the last 2 topics are the A Friend thing and the player-owned farmed showcase. So you couldn't have timed it better if you had tried.
Those are definitely probably the only things I really want to talk about. So cool.
So the first thing we have is, for those of you who don't know, A Friend has been permabanned on all of his accounts for a levy of different things. There are basically,
it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Kind of event, but yeah, continue.
So basically, he posted a video on his channel 2 days ago now that was sponsored by Stake.com, which is a gambling
delicious
website.
mail order steak site. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, it's a gambling website.
The gambling website. I don't recommend you go there. I know nothing about it. I don't know if you'll get a virus instantly or not. I'm not gonna speak well of them at all, or because I've never gone there and I never will. But so yeah, I'd say the URL only because this is the second time he's put up a sponsored video of them. The first one received a bunch of backlash, and he removed it and apologized for it. And then he made this second video being sponsored by them again, where he said sorry, but they offered me a bunch of money, so I had to do it. Basically, he didn't say how much. He said it was enough to buy an apartment.
A second
apartment. Outright with no mortgage. So, if you're American, that sounds weird because you don't really. Well, I guess in some areas of this country, you probably buy apartments, but not everywhere.
You can buy like a condo,
Yeah, condo. A better way to Americanize it, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so people are speculating it was probably like $80,000, $100,000 they offered him to basically make one video, promoting their website.
That's
insane. Which we don't know if that's factual. That's just a guess. What were you saying?
You actually brought up a great point. Like, us talking about it is exactly what they want. So when in post, I'm actually going to bleep out their URL because I think they want people to talk about it and spread their company name. So that's a good point. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, so he got offered a bunch of money to make this one video for them, and he did it. And in the video, they give him 1 billion GP to go stake in the now, why can't I think of what it's called now? Duel Arena. That's the word. Yeah. So they give him 1 bill to go stake in the Duel Arena, and that's probably the incident that got his accounts banned because
probably
that is real world trading. I mean, like, people are speculating that the money came from a real world trading place, which is probably true. I doubt this people who own this gambling website actually earned the money. But he also real world traded. They gave him 1 bill GP and whatever enormous amount of real world money to make a video for them. That is real world trading. They paid him in RSGP in part to render a service for them. That is real world trading, plain and simple. So I'm guessing that that's probably the primary thing that got him banned. Jagex did make a post on the old school subreddit, basically saying that they are going to be cracking down more on people who are being sponsored by gambling sites and promoting RS content. The biggest thing about websites like this gambling website we're talking about is that they're completely unregulated. Like, I think in the video he says...
Oh, but he says they're regulated. He says they're trusted.
Yeah, they're self-regulated.
Yeah, exactly. They're self-regulated. In the video he says the website says 18 plus only.
In like 2-point font at the bottom. And...
Well, I also believe like in certain countries you have to be older than that to gamble.
Yeah, some countries you have to be 21.
Yeah, and so that's not actually they are not actually governed by like there is no legal body governing how they run their gambling. They're just doing it themselves. And
they have a gambling license, but it's out of some like tiny country that probably has super lax gambling laws. If I had to guess.
Well. He states, well, see, at least they're trying to stop underage people from gambling. When that's not a plus. That's a cover your ass legal thing.
I mean, like half of the video was basically him trying to justify making this video while also comparing him, like trying to say, hey, look, this is way better than using the Duel Arena in RuneScape because underage people can't do it, and blah blah blah, and also. Like he's trying to say this while also not fully committing to it, but basically like the Duel Arena is all real world trading anyway, which actually is. The Duel Arena is rife with real world trading, and most of the huge gambles that go on there in that Duel Arena is real world trading, but it is against terms of service to real world trade in the game. So like the way you're supposed to be using the Duel Arena is not actually comparable to gambling. Bonds, of course, do add some aspect to that, where you could spend a bunch of money on bonds and then gamble it. So there is, some, but you can't get the money back out, and that's like the biggest difference. Like this website is like basically gamble cryptocurrency, and get the money back out.
I think this whole thing would have been avoided. Like, the scumminess of being a sellout is a whole separate issue. I think taking the 1 bill gold, because this website, from what I see, besides the fact that it's called stake.com and that there's a thing that people call staking in RuneScape, that is the only connection that I saw, like, between the website and RuneScape. So, like, if he hadn't accepted that 1 bill on video and, like, for some reason tried to connect RuneScape to this website, then I feel like
Well, he wouldn't be permabanned if he hadn't accepted the 1 bill. Accepting the 1 bill was him real-world trading with them. They gave him 1 bill to make a video for him. Like, that was part of his payment. He can try to argue it any other way he wants, but it
was part of the video.
Yep.
Like the whole thing, the whole gimmick was...
The way he's like, oh, I have a new donation, and it's from this website. Look at that. Magical. Like, he tries to sell it as if it's not that. But, like, you can't render services to someone.
Also, it doesn't matter
in return, and then not consider that real world trading.
And also,
he real world traded with a known real world trader account for an amount that is clearly a real world trading amount. Like, there's a difference between trading like 100K or even like 2 mil, couple mil between a real world trading account. But when you're accepting billions of gold, you know what you're doing.
I don't think. I mean, yeah, but even if it had been 1 GP, it would still be real world trading. Like, and even if
I'm just saying the case is so much more stronger because the numbers in the billions.
Absolutely, and I mean, like we said, the source of the money is probably real world trading as well. But to me, like, you know, so those things add to the case, but you still have the main. He accepted GP to make a video.
Like, that is scummy, but I do not believe that's attached to his ban. Or should be attached.
That's
to
real
his
world
ban
trading. I mean,
anyway.
I can't see any way that's not attached to his ban.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misheard or got jumbled in my mind.
If a company comes to you and says, "Hey, make this video for us. We'll give you 50K, and then we'll give you a billion RSGP to use in the video as well," that's real world trading. You are.
No, I'm agreeing. I agree with you. I'm going off of 0 hours of sleep, so I think my mind just got jumbled with what you were talking about in that instant. So I agree with you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. But yeah, and so then, like 24 hours after he uploads this video, he uploads an apology video. Which, first of all, it would not surprise me if he had a different apology video, like pre-made. Just like post. It just seems like
he has
probably
like five backups.
He's got to have known what he was doing to some extent.
I don't think he expected to get banned. Like, you can tell in this video
that he
expected to get banned. But I think he was 100% ready to apologize because he knew the kind of hate he was going to get for this. But he was greedy, basically. And now that being banned has threatened his livelihood, he's looking at it differently. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Go ahead.
I really hope he stays banned.
I was just saying, what if he had tears of like how intensely he had to apologize? He like tiered videos pre-prepared for like, all right, this was minor backlash, so here's my minor backlash apology. Like,
it was like a different folder for each video.
The bronze tier apology, the silver tier.
So, RRman, you haven't had a chance to say much. Do you have anything that you want to throw in?
How could you not see this happen? Like, how did he not know this was going to happen? And
well, he got away with it once before.
I didn't even. That makes it even stupider. Like, I didn't even realize that he'd done it before. So I don't actually watch his videos much anymore. But
did he do the exact same thing before, though?
Yes. Same company.
But did they give him GP and stuff?
They did not give him GP in the first ones. That was the big thing, yeah.
I think that's the deciding factor here.
That's the
more than likely.
Do you reckon he keeps the money now because he's removed the video? So
the money was given to him before the video went up. Like,
actually,
okay,
I saw a video. I'm sure you know who Alkin is.
Yeah.
He made a video and he was talking about sponsorships, and he said he knows some sponsored videos require some amount of time for the video to be up. And
Yeah,
Alkin suggest. So this is, I heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy who thinks he might know something. So obviously, grains of salt, I'm drowning in them. But he said, now I forgot what I was going with that because I went on that analogy. Alkin said that sometimes sponsors require the video to be up for a certain amount of time before the payout, and he suggested that that amount of time was usually 24 hours, and a friend took the video down
after a 24-hour period.
No, before.
Okay.
So
okay.
Alkin actually expressed, like, I hope the guy at least gets his money for the fact that he's now screwed.
I don't really hope the guy does, to be honest.
I'm just saying what Alkin.
Yeah. I know, but I agree with people. There's probably some kind of set time in the contract, but it wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if a friend was prepared to apologize for this and had because like as we've said, as Magebit said, like what they wanted was publicity off of this. So even though a friend is permabanned from RS, that's just giving this website more publicity. Like
this is maybe bonus con for them.
so like I don't like if a friend was smart, which in this contract negotiation he would have gotten maybe like a 12-hour or like a very limited amount of time the video actually had to be up, and he would have been prepared to remove it. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, and maybe he was actually, I just don't think he's ignorant enough to know that there wouldn't be major. He even says in the video, I'm gonna get shit for this. So like he knew what was coming.
He knows exactly what he did.
The amount of money though, he might have just been blinded. If he's enough to buy an apartment.
Well, I mean, that's why he decided to do it, sure, but he literally says in the video, I know I'm going to get shit for this, I'm going to do it. So, like, to me, like...
The ball's on the guy.
To me, if you know you're going to get shit for it, you're going to be prepared. That means you're going to, have a contract that allows you to remove the video quickly. You're going to, be paid in advance.
You don't get that many subscribers playing RuneScape without being a little bit, like... sneaky, like this. He's been doing controversial content his entire channel's life.
Yep, I mean that's what he built it on. Yep,
exactly. So he knows exactly what he's getting himself into. He maybe didn't expect Jagex to ban him over it, but he fully knew that this was going to be, at the very least, his channel subscribers were not going to be happy with him.
He knew the community was going to be pissed, but he also knew that he survived the previous one, still intact with a bunch of people who loved him. And I don't think he at all expected to get banned.
No.
And I honestly hope.
Mistake, then.
Like I think he should be banned in perpetuity. Like I don't think he should be allowed. Like if he wants to play the game on his private time, obviously you cannot actually dictate that enough. But if he posts another video on another account, that account should be banned.
I agree.
He should not be able to make money off of RuneScape anymore.
That's what they did with Fishy back in the day. Is that's basically the second a video went up that was monetized, that account would get banned immediately. But he could play privately, fine. He just couldn't monetize videos anymore without getting eradicated. So I hope that he takes similar steps with if he's smart, what he'll do if he really can't get his account unbanned, not his literal existence unbanned. Let me phrase that correctly. I just one day you're just uploading Minecraft videos. There's just bam, flip.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think
you gotta do.
I don't even think he's that, like, he acts like this is the end of his career. He will still have a huge following after this. Maybe even a bigger following. He could easily transition into playing a different game. Not that he wants to. I mean, he seems to be a guy who actually
does not want to.
Enjoys RuneScape, but I mean, that's what he deserves, is to have to move his career somewhere else.
I just don't understand. Like, if you're playing with fire and then you get burned, it's like, what do you expect was going to happen the entire time? You played with fire all these years. You watched slowly. He lost his PMod status. Then like Jagex disassociated from him like completely, and now banned. Like, what did you expect to come in that order? Like, you were going down that road, and like, what else did you expect to happen? You were going to reach that conclusion eventually.
Was the Golden Gnome before or after the PMod lost?
I'm pretty sure he got the Golden Gnome before the PMod loss, because the PMod loss was only like a year and a half ago, roughly, maybe 2 years ago.
And like I said, if you watch the steak video, he spends half the video making excuses for why he can do this. He knows there's gonna be backlash. And if you watch his apology video, it's the most disingenuous thing ever, where you know the whole reason he's apologizing is because he just lost his source of income. Like, he even ends the video with saying, like, this is gonna ruin my entire life. And
it's like Fade to Black.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not going to ruin your entire life. It's going to ruin this part of your career, absolutely. Yeah. But that's deserved. Like, it's beyond deserved at this point. This part of your career be over. It's not.
Yeah, when I yelled good, I mean good that you're actually finally getting ramifications for your actions. Not good that he's going to be destroyed. I don't want to see a human being like lose their livelihood and die in the ditch. Is what I want to see is repercussions for your actions. You shouldn't be able to act like this and get away with it. Like, there's a reason why we're so small. It's because we don't do stuff like that. Like, we've never bothered really with, going in and doing super controversial stuff. And he was doing a really good job at it for a while. But like, it's the same thing. Like, I'll use Crumb as another analogy. I like Crumb's videos a lot, but Crumb said it himself. He's like, I've been making RuneScape videos for years and nobody watches them. Now he's making videos on, like, look at the queen of private servers. This dude, lives off of RSGP. Now he's starting to profile all these RuneScape criminals, and now he's getting 50K plus views on his videos. Controversy is gonna get you views, but it also endangers your account, because if you start mixing with those type of people, you're gonna end up, with the same fate as them.
This was super short-sighted too, because people talk about how this is a lot of money, and I'm sure it even is a lot of money for a friend. But this is also the guy who spent $15,000 to max an account, so he clearly has a large income to be able to do that. So I think that he expected to be able to basically make like a year's worth of money in one video, and decided to do that because the backlash would be okay. And now he's realizing that this year's worth of income has cost him, like the next 5-10 years of his income potentially. And like I said, I don't think that'll happen. He'll switch to a different game. He'll start playing Fortnite. He'll become the biggest streamer ever.
The problem with that is RuneScape skills do not translate very well to any other game.
No, absolutely not. Or he'll switch to World of Warcraft. Like, there's other MMOs he could hop to as well. And I mean, like,
I suppose
the one thing that I can definitely the only thing I can tell in his apology video is he seems to actually like the game, which I don't feel like it's just interesting, because I would have never It's surprising to me because he doesn't seem the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy who plays the game just to make money, but actually does seem like he actually cares about the game, which is a bit surprising.
I don't know. The type of tears he was rolling in that apology video still felt a little too much like, I'm sorry I got caught.
Oh no, absolutely. He literally blames it on his community. He basically says that he was
hostage.
He was held hostage by his community. Yep. That's literally part of what he says. So I do not take his apology as genuine, but I think the one thing that comes through is he actually wants to be able to play the game again, which maybe he only wants to be able to play it to make money. Who the hell knows? And it's not to like garner sympathy for him. I don't feel sympathetic for this guy at all. He fucked up over and over again and finally got his just desserts.
He doesn't. I don't think he cares about playing the game. I think he wants to stream / continue making videos.
Me too.
Because he's moving to the Netherlands, so he could get a new computer, new.
He can't
IP
be banned. He has a girlfriend. Everyone.
Well, what I'm saying is they can't IP ban him. He's moving to an entirely different country.
You also can't IP ban someone easily with a VPN service,
That too.
No, I mean, there's no way. I mean, like, they could hardware. The best way to do it would be to hardware ID ban him, but even that's easy to get around.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like,
it's easy to spoof MAC addresses and whatnot. God.
If he wanted to just be able to play the game on his own time, he wouldn't have added that little tidbit into the video. He wants to keep making money off of playing the game.
Yeah, I just think it's both. I think he likes.
Both,
I think he likes RuneScape and likes playing it, but he also obviously still wants to keep his job. Like, Absolutely, it's both those things.
This is the problem, but this is my problem: is you are handed, not handed. All right, he put work into it, but you are one of the gifted few that gets.
You got randomly lucky. Like, let's not pretend like doing the popular YouTube channel is not. It's work, yes, but it's also what makes everyone who makes a YouTube channel and puts out a lot of videos puts in a lot of work. Only like a small section of those actually become popular, and that's the popularity is based on luck.
Pretty much. I mean, because there are tons of tiny channels, excluding myself from this example. There are tons of other tiny channels that are super funny, super interesting, and they never garner more than 30, 40 viewers at any given time. But they're super entertaining. So you can't tell me that it's anything more than you would just happen to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, we've streamed to 300 plus people before, but like it was a fluke because people were just trying to figure out what the hell was going on when Invention came out.
I mean, we can even look at Ninja, who is the king of Twitch right now. I started watching that dude when he had 400 viewers and was playing Halo. And then he started playing Battle Royale games, started getting a couple thousand viewers, and then he was one of the first streamers to switch to Fortnite, and then Fortnite happened to blow up to be the biggest thing ever, and he was there to catch that wave. That was not his intellect or superior.
He was doing pretty well on PUBG.
Yeah,
he was pretty skilled, so he
has skills.
He has skill, but it's him being skills though. Him having viewers is absolutely based on his skills. Him being the #1 channel on Twitch is RNG.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, like I think Dakota's and CDN the third, and I could probably name a couple other Fortnite streamers that are probably right on his level. I'm Shroud. You probably stick him in there, even though that's the wrong game. He'd probably still be on Ninja skill level because a lot of that shit translates.
Mm-hmm.
You got like one of my personal streamers, HGC Justin, is really good, but he only gets a few hundred viewers. But he's always in those. He always takes home like thousands of dollars from those PUBG tournaments. I think he took home like 14K recently from one. Yep. And like, so that's skill right there, but the poor dude's hanging on by a nail as far as Twitch viewers go.
Yep, that's the part that's RNG is like actually getting like you can have a small audience and that's based on your skill, but actually blowing up to be the biggest thing ever, or even like a friend was one of the biggest RS video makers on YouTube. And
I never understood why.
But
like I don't mean that from a place like I totally understand like the RS guy watching him come up and up is just like it's a no-brainer. Of course, he's smart, funny, attractive, young, intelligent, like you name it, he's got it. Like I get it. Like him getting popular totally makes sense. But when I look at someone like a friend, I'm like, he's not funny, he's shady, he does things that are morally questionable. Like just none of the boxes are there, and I just don't understand it. So I feel like it had to be more RNG than him. But again, it's a personal thing as well, who you like and who you don't like. So that's also, I guess, I have to take into consideration. Is not many people think like me because we all are different weirdos.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, the videos, if you want to see the details, the videos are worth watching. I mean, they are. He deleted his original video, but obviously there's re-uploads. His apology's probably still up there. I mean, you watch the apology and it's just none of it's believable. It's so clearly like disingenuous as fuck. Like I mean, like especially when you like I watched his apology video. He looks like a
politician.
I watched his apology video and then I went back and watched the original video, and it makes it even worse because it's like. In the original video, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this." In the apology video, I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. Dude, you literally say in the other video that you knew that most of this was going to happen. Like, how am I supposed to believe an apology a day later when you literally say, "Oh, I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I don't care because money."
And it sounded just as scripted as the video itself, in my humble opinion. Like, his apology sounded just as reading off of a cue card as the video that he was apologizing for did. So it was like, yeah, one video was a little more somber than the other, of course, but that doesn't change the fact that it was still like, it sounded like he was reading off a cue card.
Yeah, because
like
he hasn't had. Really... Sorry, it doesn't even really like doesn't really look up and at the camera sort of thing. He sort of looks down. I don't know if it's trying to pretend that he's sad or something.
It could be.
It's like he's reading off.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem genuine at all.
Yeah.
Had gone and done something like that, I just feel like it would take me more than 24 hours to even upload a video. But again, it's hard to compare. It's just a weird. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see this day come. I honestly didn't think it. But I'm really kind of glad to see that Jagex has decided to like just start doing something as far as these types of things are concerned.
So like gambling sites, unregulated gambling sites, and this one has some shady regulations, so who the hell knows? And I don't care. I'm not gonna do my research and figure out how much of that is true because I frankly don't give a even if it is regulated. But like, have been a terrible thing in the gaming community in general. You know, a couple years ago we had major terrible things go wrong in the CS:GO community because it was found out that a bunch of CS:GO streamers also owned the gambling sites they were promoting. And that caused a bunch of big shit to go down. But even just like the idea that like, I think a lot of people who create the kind of content that we create or that a friend creates don't realize the power they hold, right? If you take a sponsor, that means a lot, and like people don't even realize like who is sponsoring, right? Like DX Racers, most popular chair on Twitch. That's not coincidence. They literally sponsor every fucking streamer out there, basically, with over a few hundred viewers. Like that's how they
starting to see a lot of other chairs out there now doing the same thing.
Yep, absolutely. But like
it works.
It absolutely works. But like their entire brand was built off of sponsoring, sponsoring Twitch streamers. That terrible key selling site that was like basically selling keys that were gotten illegally. I forget, was it G2A or whatever?
Yep. See, G2A is an interesting thing because they're no more than really an eBay for keys. So they themselves get away. That's how they get away with it, though. And that's the problem: is they pass themselves off as a merchant, and all these people in the community selling their products, and that's how they're getting away with it. But like
that's a bad comparison, though.
It is a bad comparison because if you were to sell something illegal on eBay, there'd be repercussions. But the fact that it's a digital product obscures it, and
G2A literally sells a service to say, if you get a bad key, we'll replace it. Like they know exactly what they're doing and built their entire business around doing it.
Well, what they built their entire business around the fact that they're hoping that the key that you bought was fraudulent, or wasn't fraudulent rather, because if the key is fraudulent, then they eat that profit. They're not going and getting you another or making that key good. What they're doing is eating the cost of that key for you and then transferring you to another seller of the same key. Because if there is no other seller of the same key, you don't actually get the game, you get G2A wallet credit. So
yes, but
it's actually what they're selling is insurance.
Yes, absolutely. But they know the kind of site they're running, and they are pretending like they don't.
They're shit bags.
And trying to bring this just because I had a thought hanging on about a friend. Jagex permanent bans across all accounts are usually a nail in the coffin type of thing, not exactly, oh, he posted a video where he accepted a bill from a guy.
Yeah. This is generally like I feel like the accepting the billion, and I thought it was 2 billion just for the record, but whatever.
No, he accepted a billion and then staked and got another billion.
Okay, so that's how. Okay, I was like, how did he end up with 2? Anyway, that makes sense now. I feel like that was just a straw on the camel's back kind of situation. Like they had been basically waiting for him to F up enough times to do this, and he was just handing it to them.
I think that's no. I mean, you look at the post on they made an example of him is what they did. They
certainly did.
They have seen what's going on in the old school community with more and more people being sponsored by gambling websites, and they decided that it wasn't acceptable. And a friend stepped over the line in such a way that they had more than one legitimate reason to ban him, so they did it. That's how I read it. What happened? Because I can't find the post on 2007scape right now, but there's literally a post saying like we're gonna.
I know the post you're talking about. Yeah.
Like we're gonna be working with content developers or content makers to get them to move away from this kind of project, and if any other big, they basically said if any other big streamers or producers accept payment from sites like this, we're gonna do the same thing.
They're gonna get flushed.
Yeah. So they are taking a stand because they don't want, because it hurts the community. Like having these kind of sponsors, like as we were saying earlier, like
if you're gambling on some random website, you're not gonna have any money left for Treasure Hunter.
This is an old school player, so I don't know why he'd be using Treasure Hunter in the first place, but good try.
Listen, we all know old school RuneScape is just to get you into the RuneScape universe, so you'll eventually upgrade to RuneScape 3.
All know they're bringing microtransactions to old school. Reddit said so.
That will also happen, of course, because Reddit did say so.
Okay, but now back to the
we're getting
point
into the
I was
bullshit.
Trying to make, then got interrupted by 2 jokes. No, like sponsorships work, and having toxic sponsorships in your community hurts that community at large. So Jagex is not going to want this kind of shit to grow, which is why they have taken a stand here, and it's a good thing they have, because like the other thing is like we don't know who owns this gambling website. Would it be a shocker if in 6 months we found out a friend had a 10% stake in it? No, I wouldn't be shocked at all, honestly.
Me either.
Or if some other RS player did, or like if some RS player decided to invest in this, and maybe a friend doesn't, but maybe if Jagex lets this continue, you know what happens? A big RS streamer decides to invest a bunch of money into one of these gambling websites, and then have it sponsor other RS streamers. And then it becomes a bigger problem. Like we've seen, like I said, what happened with CS:GO, I think is a word of warning to other developers. Like they were paying attention to what happened there, and they want to stop it in this community before it becomes the issue that it was in that one. Anyways, I'm guessing that's probably about all we have to say on this, unless people have more to add.
I honestly think what you just said is a great conclusion.
All right, well then we will move on to the player-owned farms showcase summary.
All right,
Magebit, would you mind starting off reading this? I gotta go AFK for a minute.
Yeah, let me just get the document and whatnot, because I don't have anything in front of me.
Cool. Sounds.
We just hanging out in the regular notes location?
Yep. RRman got over his fear of editing the document. He's no longer afraid of you, so watch out.
Cool. All right.
You're not meant to tell him that.
So you are still afraid. Okay, never mind. I take it back.
So much fear.
So we had our third farming showcase for the year, I believe. Probably third and final, considering it's coming into the game next week, I believe.
Yeah, this was actually the full stream instead of just like a part of a stream. So yeah.
Yeah, so not next week, but the week after, excuse me. This weekend coming up is Bonus XP weekend after this week. So we got Bonus XP weekend on the 31st, then the following Monday is Gacha. That is going to be one heck of a crazy weekend. I personally have been taking a little distance from RuneScape for the past couple of weeks in order to charge up for the next, kind of nonsense that's coming in September. But we got player-owned farms dropping on the 3rd of September. That's officially confirmed. They've showed us the same concept art a billion times now. So basically, Granny Potterington is the owner of the farm north of Ardoin by the Lodestone, which currently serves no purpose. Her husband has passed away, her kids have disappeared, and she's alone and unable to look after the farm. Help out and receive a cut of the reward. You will receive a section of the farm that will help you build up and improve. Your first task in the tutorial is to pick up Jack the Yak. Jack is being sold off to Presley to kickstart the process of rebuilding the farm. Mixture of construction and farming in the area. It's going to require 17 farming and 20 construction to begin. You're going to start with a male and female bunny. They will always have the name Snowy and Flossie after Maud Rowley's childhood pets, and a small pen deed in the tutorial. So you'll raise the animals on the farm. It's not instant, so you'll see other players. Everyone will be in the same section of the farm, but of course you'll only see your own plot, similar to how the Invention Guild works. There's going to be contract buyers, much like how the Yellow Wizard works in the Runespan, but for animals. Presley is one of the contract buyers. One buyer for each animal type. Whenever they show up, they'll ask for specific breeds and traits. They'll be particularly after a certain breed, although you can give them any animal breed of that type. Giving them their desired breed will obviously give you the best results. Shiny animals act as wild cards for selling to contract buyers, so you don't have to meet the requested breed or trait. You can just give them a shiny and they'll be happy because it's shiny. They will accept only checked animals, so you'll have to check them first. Adolescent dragons will sell for 2,000 beans, which is a new currency coming into the game, which will be a reward, I believe, for checking or receiving animals. There'll be bonus beans for having the right breed and trait. There's going to be different types of pens available to place your animals in, 2 of each size, so there'll be 2 small, medium, and large pens for a total space of 34 animals. And 1 breeding pen. The pen is already made for you, so you can use the breeding pen at your leisure. Each pen size, RRman, you can just hop right in there. Each pen size will keep different sized animals. So, of course, you'll have your small pen for smaller animals and, upwards from there. Pen deeds must be purchased from the shop using beans, and them made by using the appropriate materials and levels in construction. Left-clicking a pen or the animals themselves inside the pen will show an interface. The interface is not final. It's still being worked on. They better hurry up because they got like a week. It's only going to show animals that are in your inventory. They can be stored in the pen. It operates on a drag and drop interface. Functionality will also be that you can click an individual animal to see its stats before choosing to add or remove it. Buying a pen deed requires the farming and construction levels for it, and those are 20 for a small pen, 40 for a medium pen, 60 for a large pen. These levels are assistable. There is also the ability to turn manure, which is niche uses, such as gaining your golden rocks for farming. You can receive rocks, fish, farming pet, etc. From all player-owned farm activities. There are 30 visible achievements and some hidden ones. Some of these achievements include curing 100 animals of ailments, earning a total of 1,000 beans, purchase all farming upgrades in the farmer's market reward shop, complete the breeding log, hand in magical zygomite called Trevor with the loyalty trait to Granny, unlock all 4 seasons of various musical tracks, successfully breed a royal dragon, talk to Pickle, cat named after Shawnee's cat, once his kill count has hit double figures, hand in a lizard chicken called Malcolm with the chaotic trait to Granny, have 9 tier 1 animal perks active at the same time, have 9 tier 2 animal perks active at the same time, have the 4 different seasonal rams in a pen at the same time, complete all chicken breeds, chinchompa breeds, dragon breeds, rabbit breeds, sheep breeds, spider breeds, yak breeds, cow breeds, and zygomite breeds. Also hidden, successfully breed a rabbit with the Ravensworn trait, imply that there's several of these Ravensworn achievements. No title for finishing the achievements. Various types of honey from beehives by depositing flowers such as marigolds. Honey type increases animal happiness and health. The honey will be tradable. Delicious honey will boost happiness of the animals. Only comp cape requirement is to unlock music. There are no trim or master quest cape requirements. The music in player-owned farms changes according to the season. Skyboxes also change in the farm based on the season. This means that if you don't interact with your farm much, it will take you roughly 7 months to unlock all 4 seasons' music tracks, since we're near the end of summer. If all you care about is getting back your comp cape, you can use the seasonalizer with a couple of days, maybe even a day, which can be used to change your farm season. Animal collection log is viewable from Granny's dog. Dailyscape. It's not any more dailyscape than farming is. It's timed because farming is timed. As you get higher level, you don't need to be at the farm as often, such as player-owned ports. We've deliberately designed it so that the farm will work at your leisure. It won't do any checks for determining disease until you come to the farm. It does track time, though, so if you leave the farm for a week and come back, a week's worth of progress will be ready for you. designed to complement your farm runs instead of replace them, as it is kind of read along the herb runs. So that's kind of nice, I guess. And then they show off the skill guide, which I don't think I'm gonna read. We were going to add them as pets, Trevor the magical Zygamite and all the other animals, that is, but that would require combat animations. We managed to find animation time for one pet. So again, that's Trevor the Zygamite. But the rest of the special shinies will not have pet variants. You can only grow certain breeds depending on the conditions on the farm. Black sheep can only grow during the night. Summer down, spring sheared, winter wooled, and fall-faced sheep can only grow during their respective seasons. The two animal inventory objects, similar to activated and unactivated portable fairy rings. Animals typically come in an unchecked state. Unchecked animals stack in the bank and can be traded on the Grand Exchange. That's weird. Checked animals can't stack in your bank or be traded on the Grand Exchange. Once checked, animals will have traits and object variables on them, like augmented items. This can be seen by hovering over them. Obviously, why you can't trade them once you've been checked. And it's kind of like the old herb system when we used to have unidentified herbs. You just buy the unidentified herbs and you wouldn't know what you're getting. Kind of a shout out to that. Checked animal tooltips can be seen in player-to-player trades to avoid scamming. Although checked animals can't be traded on the Grand Exchange, they can be traded player-to-player or sold to buy contract buyers at any growth stage. Adolescent animals sell for the most beans to contract buyers. Adult, 85% of the original value. Elder, 70. Baby, 20. Egg, 10. Stats. Health and happiness. The higher these two stats are, the less likely the animal is to get diseased and the more likely it is to breed. Weight. Potentially who can grow the heaviest competitions. Speed. Won't have any effect on launch, but if the player-owned farms goes down well, we could potentially make animal races. Attractiveness. Won't have any effect on launch, but potential beauty competitions. So, I don't know. Those two things don't sound like that they're going to probably make it into the game.
Yeah.
But they're interesting nonetheless. There's tons of traits. I'll read through them real quick. I won't read what they do, but I'll just read through them. Jovial, golden gift, robust, lucky, virile, giver, chatty, genetic mutation, radiant, handsome, chaotic, poisonous breath, glistening, studdily, sparkling, genetic inferiority, joyful, unstable, strong genes, genetic instability, fussy eater. They really shouldn't put fussy eater and producer right after each other when you're trying to read words like ahead of, like when you're trying to do what I'm doing. That is a recipe for disaster. Ravensworn.
Oh, I got the reference.
Traits. Thank good. I'm glad. Animals can have up to 3 traits each. Names of the animals are randomish. 32 names per animal per gender. Plenty of in-jokes and references among them. Name rerolls can be purchased with beans. They're quite cheap. Animals cannot die on the farm unless they have the unstable trait. I like that. It's just like in real life. Animals must be fed food appropriate to the type of food they eat, herbivore, carnivore, etc.
I really wish that they would let us name our own stuff in this game already. It really feels like a part of like the bygone era where like you couldn't swear in general chat in the game. Like I don't know, like why can't we name stuff at this point?
Did you watch the clan live stream that Shawnee did where they allowed us to put a string of letters in? We could put whatever we want. And he sounded like he was our mom. He's like, I'm trusting you guys. I'm gonna let you put whatever you want in here now. I better not find like
well, that was the clan daily message, right?
I get it, but like at the same time, it feeds from the same problem that they think we're 5 still.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird because they do it in the wrong places, right? Like,
yeah.
I can go to Living Rock Caverns and find some terrible, terrible chat going on, and they're okay with that. But don't name your animal Fluffy Fucker or something, you know? Like,
silliness.
Really? You think that's what I would name my sheep?
I mean, you're the one who thought I was talking about sheep, so I think that says more about you.
All right. So you can fill trough from the outside of the pen, or if you wish, you can climb over the stile for immersion. Filling interface. There's an image available. It's your typical MakeX interface. We done a little circuit of stiles around the farm, so you can do a little agility lap if you really wanted. You don't get a lap bonus though. Why is that? Why is that in here? Who asked that question? I worry about you, Twitch. What?
Probably wasn't a question. It's probably just something they said about, because they said it in all their streams, and there's a little like agility course like thing.
Oh, okay. Food increases an animal's weight, stats, happiness, and health. Food is also an item sink for the more useless farming produce, deliberately made easy to keep happiness and health up. Withdrawing from the food trough will give you back mush. Depositing fruit in the trough will give you back fruity mush. This is to allow the players to receive an equivalent item to feed other animals, since individual contents of the troughs will not be tracked. Animals eat relatively slowly every couple of hours. Troughs have a capacity of 1,000. Building a system in a way that hopefully makes it easier to add animals in the future. Hopefully. Breeding. Putting animals in the breeding paddock will result in offspring. Animals can breed different breed types, but only the same species can breed. Every animal born through the breeding process has a 1 divided by X chance of being shiny, or 1 in chance, I suppose. Shiny animals give more resources, can be sold for more, and can give slightly different materials, and a 10% XP for checking their growth stage. Animals can have different breeds, which give slightly different produce. Shiny sheep give golden fleece. There's also a shiny rabbit. There's strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, and shiny cows. They give different flavored milk. Acquire more pens and animals as you progress. Growth stages could be egg, baby, adolescent, adult, elder. Only egg, baby, and adult are visibly distinct. Dragons take about a week to fully grow. An egg to a fully grown dragon gives 200,000 farming XP. I smell a nice new weekly.
Actually, less XP than I was expecting, though.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but you can have a lot of dragon.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll have to see.
So yeah, if you say you can have 1 dragon per pen, even that's what 4. That's still 2 dragons, or what?
I see how Hannah's gonna get 99 farming.
I see how I'm closing in on 120 farming, so this is going to be huge for me. As animals grow up, you'll be able to keep checking on them and receive XP and produce at certain growth stages, like checking a tree, but at multiple stages. Growth stages XP will stack up. So, for example, if you have been checked for 3 stages, you'll get XP for all 3 when you check next. Only common brown rabbits don't give produce on harvest. This XP does not stack with bonus XP or double XP weekend, but urns do work. Disease will be a chance for disease, but we don't want it to be like in plants. Disease stunts growth and stats. Your animal will get sick, and you examine it to find out the symptoms. Use the symptoms to ascertain which of the 6 diseases it is. If you pick the wrong disease, your animal stats will get worse. Don't need any items to cure the animal for farming XP, so it becomes a gameplay aspect rather than just a punishment. We'll be able to deter disease through different ways. Trading animals. Unchecked animals can be sold on the GE, player to player, or contract buyers. Checked animals cannot be sold on the GE, but can be sold player to player or to contract buyers at any growth stage. Want to encourage trading on checked animals between players. This would create a farmer's market for trading at the farm.
I think I like that.
Me too. That's nice.
I really love the fact that this isn't gonna be instant and it's gonna be an open space, so you'll be running into people. Like I hope that we see more. Like the construction rework that did this would be awesome, so that your house doesn't feel empty. The idea that your farm's gonna be like running into people, and probably like on 65 we'll probably run into a bunch of clan mates all the time, and that'll be cool.
Yeah. We haven't created a themed world for the farm. We want this to come out organically. No reason to hoard animals in your bank. Grow them and sell them for beans. Perks. Attach a farming totem to a pen to activate perks for an animal at the elder growth stage in that pen. 12 perks in total, 1 per animal, including gender variations, 1 for a hen, 1 for a rooster. On a per pen basis, so only worth having one elder pen. Perk stack, so an elder spider in every pen will add to the bonus damage dealt to spiders. Rabbits, all animals have a higher chance of breeding when in the pen. Spiders, damage dealt against spiders, including Araxi and Araxor. Hens, chance to save feathers when fletching. Roosters, better chance of getting ghostly essence drop. Dragons, chance to get an effigy when checking a fully grown farming patch, only if ultra compost is used. Effigies received this way follow the normal rules, can only have 5 max, with a decreasing chance of receiving one. Chinchompas is a chance to save skilled chompas on use, a chance to get clues from harvesting, a number of perks that help with additional harvests from farming or farming crops in general, others that have nothing to do with farming. All animals except go ahead.
The chance to get clues, shouldn't that just be a thing? Like, I don't understand why that's a perk.
I don't know. Maybe it was thought of like give clues to everybody. I don't know.
I don't know, because like combat gives out clue scrolls like it's candy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem fair to like make skilling require, because like that perk is never gonna be, not never, but it's probably not gonna be valuable to actually use, because there's so many other better perks that are going to outclass it.
Yeah, unfortunately. Let's see. All animals except zygomites will poop, which can be turned into compost. Only dragon dung can be turned into ultra compost. 3 types of manure for 3 types of compost: compost, super compost, and ultra compost. 15 buckets of manure in a compost bin gives 15 buckets of compost. Rewards. Internal farming currency called beans. Beans can be put into the currency pouch.
Yay, another useless, closed currency.
Yep. Farm upgrades include pen deeds, bank chest at the farm, receive produce as noted, farming totems, which can attach to non-breeding pens, can be picked up and moved around pens as desired, activate perks for that pen.
They don't say which animal. Salty had a question: which animal gives the clue scroll perk? They don't say. They just say that there is that one of the perks is that. So maybe it'll be animals in general, which would make it okay. But yeah, they don't have a specific assignment for that one.
Magic beans will be rare. They won't be worth millions. Won't be millions of them in game. Rather, buy them from the reward shop. Will be the only source of them aside from players getting a few from Gold Premiere on release. Almost instantly grows a plot at random. The type of plot produces is random, but scales around your farming level to avoid growing things that are low level for high players. It does not work on Crystal Tree, will work on Spirit Trees, and patch-specific beans, but there is a universal one as well. There's also some miscellaneous rewards like pets. You can get bean packs. Herbicide is available here. Seedicide is available here. Farm deeds, of course. Master Farmer blueprint. So that's how you're going to be able to get the outfit for the Master Farmer, which is, I believe, coming into the game with this update. So what else we got here? Ultra Compost has half the disease chance of Super Compost, increases harvest patch health by an additional 1, like Super Compost did over Compost. Storable with Tool Leprechaun. Receive it from Dragon Dung in the farm. There's no hero item on the farm. Elite Farming Outfit has inventory 3 versions as usual, 1 for animals, crops, and trees, combined to make the elite outfit. Mimics the fragment system with other outfits. Fragments awarded for player-owned farm as well as regular farming, and it won't be put on Treasure Hunter. Can buy fragments packs for 2,000 beans, which give 3,600 fragments to speed up collecting. Blueprints require 70-ish farming to purchase. And the set bonus is 6% farming XP if the whole outfit is owned. Animals age 7% faster when you're at the Ardoin farm. 10% more beans from farmers market sales. Better chance of positive traits from breeding and checking. 10% chance to harvest more hops, herbs, and allotment crops. Herbs are auto-cleaned on harvest. Planted hop. Yeah, that's pretty great, right? Planted hop, herb, and flower and allotment seeds are auto-watered. Protect payment discount of -2 to a minimum of 1. Can cast rapid growth up to twice per day per patch. 10% chance to gain bonus produce when harvesting fruit trees and bushes, remote farming access to the Ardoin farm, herblore habitat, and seed pod teleports. New skilling potions as well.
Oh,
Potions
the seed pod teleports. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All those teleports are going to be sweet. New skilling potions. Potions and secondaries are tradable. Secondaries for these potions are new items from the farm available from a range of farm animals, including materials from specific breeds. Skilling level boosts potions for rune crafting, divination, invention, and hunter, with supreme and extreme versions as well. Regular hunter potion already exists, with a regular being a +3 boost. Each potion is an ingredient for one of the above. Super potions are required to make an extreme potion, for example. Extreme invention potion is +17 levels. Since it's an elite skill, we were unsure if the other three will also boost +17.
What is that boost useful for, though? I don't understand, like, where... I don't know. Like, I guess if, like, it's only useful if you're below 99 or below 120, right? Like, I don't know. Does like post 99 boost in skilling? Like, if you're post 99 and you boost divination, does that make you gather divination resources faster or something? Like, I don't think it does, right? It's weird.
I don't think so.
I know there's some skills where being a higher level makes you gather quicker, I think.
I'm going to be off mic for a second. I'm a little nauseous. I try to get Rolade into my system. Hang on.
All right. Yeah, that's strange to me. I don't...
I wonder if I could boost my invention level and then build one of the machines I can't use yet.
Yeah, I really am. Maybe
that'd be sweet.
If anyone, Killer Bunny will probably listen to this and know the actual use for these potions, but I don't see how boosting your skill levels is useful post 99, which this content seems like high level content, so it's weird that they. But anyway, they have something about invention here. At 120 invention, your perk roll sits between 120 to 395 with a cape boost to 121. It sits between 121 and 395. I'm not going into what this means, as it's incredibly dense and complex calculation, and one of that is purposely left mysterious, pun intended, but I'll take it. Okay. The Extreme Invention Potion will push your roll between 137 to 435 at base Invention 120. So basically, I guess the Extreme Invention Potion will make it easier to get better perks. So that potion sounds like it has a use. It's going to increase your roll chance on perks. So that one sounds useful. The other ones I don't know. There must be some kind of increase you get from boosting rune crafting or something. Like maybe you make more runes if your level is actually boosted for rune crafting. Because I think you make that's just a thing in general. So maybe if you have a boost to like 117, for example, rune crafting, or 116, I guess it would be from 99. Maybe that does something. I don't know. Herbicide and seedicide upgrades. Picks up herbs/seeds like upgrade. Bone Crusher picks up bones. That will be useful. More AFK. We're kind of
yes, please.
With all this stuff that's auto picking up, like soon there's gonna be a way to make 3 mil an hour without having to pay attention. Like it's coming, like 3 to 5 mil an hour, where you just have to drink potions every 5 minutes. Just like that's what all the, like, with the automatic golem accumulator, the bone crusher, the herbicide and seedicide, and your legendary pet. There has to be a monster where you can make. I mean, you can already make 1.5 mil an hour to 2 mil an hour at Abyssal Demons completely AFK. So this has to be like. It's gonna be interesting how much this is gonna break the game, because it's gonna make combat so damn AFK. Premier Club rewards on release will be a little creative with goodies inside, particularly if you like shiny things. This is separate to the magic beans given at the vault. Man, Premier Club is so broken this year. I don't really like the Premier Club it's giving like actual in-game boosts now. I don't know how other people feel about it, but it feels like a
slippery
step too far. Yep.
The slippery slope.
And especially because go ahead.
I was gonna say, the nice thing, they could start putting actual real content behind this, but to counter that, they've said that they're aware of what it looks like and that they're not planning on doing that. That's coming out of the mouth of Mon Osborne though, so take it with whatever you'd like.
Yeah, and you say that, but like people were angry because like they promised like I think 3 exclusive Premier Club updates this year, and then Osborne said they're gonna be cosmetic only. People got pissed about that, and then Osborne was like, "If you want more than that, let us know." And that's scary because like if we get a fucking mini quest that's gold Premier only, that's just broken, and yeah, that would make me consider going to old school. Yeah, if you start locking content behind, like this is the problem with Treasure Hunter, right? It locks content behind gambling. If they start locking member content behind a yearly membership subscription, that's broken. That's extremely broken.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to see content in any way locked behind. Like, I don't mind getting these like little boosts that are just like, hey, go check out the new content here. This will get you in real quick. You know, like that's fine with me. But going any further than that, and that again, the slippery slope argument is okay. Well, now that we've gone this far, is what's to stop us from putting actual little like, oh, well, if you're Premier Club, you can actually play the content before everyone else, and then from there is now you get the content period before everybody. Like, just that's the only way to get this content. Like that's the bottom of the slope, and I don't want to see us end up there. So I'd rather Premier just be cosmetic only. Good.
Exactly. Like, I don't even know that I'm okay. Like, I have problems with how it currently is with giving out. Like sure, it's a small bonus right now, but that small bonus combined with the vault, it already feels like
the vault is amazing.
There's exclusive content, and that's not like I don't get it because like Premier Club was already successful. You didn't have to add this shit to it. Like,
honestly, I'm hoping for a tiered Premier Club this year. I'm like yes, because I want it, and also because I'm due to the price of bonds. But like, I honestly would pay for a platinum Premier Club if it included like rune metrics and any other stupid subscription things that they want to sell me on the side, like double keys or anything like that. Like, just include it all. Give me like a $200 a year bill and just leave me alone for the rest of the year. No advertisements in game.
Is selling his soul to make more money on bonds.
I'm the real friend here the whole time. It was in your backyard. Yeah, I'm over here trying to inflate the price of bonds, and he's trying to make money illegally off of a gambling. I can see the comparison.
I mean, you're the one who made it, so.
I know, because I'm joking. But anyway.
I know, but it was funny because you made the comparison and then
derailed my whole point.
Derailed your comparison like someone else had made it. That's
Yeah, well, that's the problem with having two brains inside your head. What the hell was I saying originally? Like, what was my point?
We were talking about exclusive content through Premier Club and how when you said it's a slippery slope, and me, I feel like we've already like kind of
we're already sliding down the slope.
Yeah, and I really wish that they would walk it back because it's not. It's not neat. Like, I agree with you. Premier Club, give it a bunch of exclusive cosmetics. That's great. Stop. Do not give it stuff that alters the in-game shit.
What about? Are you cool with having a tier that packages together all their subscription services into one?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't know why I like lost my breath there.
As long as it doesn't include putting
rune metrics,
putting rune metrics in with a version of Premier Club makes perfect sense. But putting these in-game rewards as part of Premier Club is what's wrong. Not the rune metric stuff.
Okay.
Maybe the mini quest will be lore on the vault guy, says Salty. Oh yeah, and Frost Dragons with Bone Crusher upgrade is good money. Well, but can you AFK Frost Dragons? I don't know if you have to.
Well, imagine new Slayer monster coming into the game, and it's like, it's got this Slayer mechanic, but if you're a Gold Premier Club member, you don't you can bypass the mechanic. Like, that's what I'm worried about.
I mean, yeah, but even I'm worried about that too. But I'm also worried about where it currently sits. It doesn't feel good to where it currently sits. It already feels like Premier Club has something like that with the vault and with like the boost. Like, you're gonna get
vault is OP.
You're gonna get free magic beans for this player on farms update. The rest of us are gonna have to. I don't know how many you're gonna get, but the rest of us are gonna have to work on those. Like,
we got free. We got 500 points for the what do you call it?
Thieving update.
Yeah, and it was just enough to basically do nothing, but enough that I was like, maybe I'll do this now.
But it's
So, I
still
mean, like-
harmful. Like sure, it's not a huge reward, but it still is a tiered
Yeah.
reward that is affecting in-game progress. Like
Yeah, oh, definitely. I'm not gonna disagree with the fact that it affects in-game progress, but what I will say is it is a very minute amount of it. But again, slippery slope.
yeah, I just don't think I don't think that membership should be tiered that way. Like obviously, like personally, I don't have a problem with Metrics Pro. I don't know a lot of people do. I think that's a good system, but I don't think that you should tier other things that way. That's just dangerous. Now there's a mower outside my house, you can probably hear.
It's all good. Anyway, ow! I just broke my
And actually,
bone.
like I do agree with slippery slope about it, but I also think we're already down the slope partially, in my opinion. Like we're already at a point where it feels uncomfortable. Where, like, I mean, the auras were, I guess maybe the auras were already there, and I just never really recognized that. And maybe there's a valid argument to be made.
Have been around since 2010.
The Premier Club exclusive auras.
Oh, those auras.
Premier Club, yes.
Okay, Premier Club exclusive auras have been around since 2013.
Yes, but my point is that there's an argument
I'm just trying
to be
to
made that those go too far.
Ah.
Even I don't know. Like, I just
I could see the argument for them going too far. I don't know if I agree with it, but
I feel like Premier Club should, like, it's cheaper. That should be what Premier Club is. It's cheaper and you get some free cosmetics. You don't need all this other shit you keep adding to it.
It should be called Value Club if that's the case. If it's just going to be cheaper and it's a few cosmetics, call it the Value Club.
Fine.
The Premier Club sounds just epic. And like I am better than people who are not in the Premier Club.
Yeah,
so like
and
it's
problematic to do that.
And then it's you got like, and it's like you're calling these people VIP, so you're inherently saying the people who buy into this Premier Club are very important people, and everyone else who buys membership are just your regular plebs. And I think that inherently is an issue.
Yep.
That needs to be looked at. If you want to look at the fact that this club, needs to stop getting more and more OP. Well, I think we need to change the paradigm from which the club is even viewed from if we're going to do that. Because it's currently geared as if it's some sort of elite tier club that's better than just you strip everything away and just go down to the VIP world benefit. You've gated off a world for these people.
Yeah, but there's enough world. But you're not giving something extra. It's like, sure,
you're giving them an entire world extra, where they can be their own.
You were giving them something that everyone else has access to 100 worlds. You have access to 101. That doesn't change things. Whereas, like, I gave you a jump start on thieving. That's a completely different story.
I don't know. Those VIP worlds generally have better ping for a lot of people, so. Some people might feel like I've heard. And
that's a myth. That's a myth based on where you live geographically.
I was gonna say, I've heard a lot of people who live in Australia and New Zealand and whatnot will often take the VIP server because it's better ping than anything else.
I don't know if that's very much like a myth to me. That makes zero sense because it's going to be hosted in the exact same server space as any of the other worlds.
It's because they connect the VIP servers to WTF fast, right? Like that's fake service that supposedly boosts. All right, I'm just shitting because I don't got anything real anymore. So, no, really, I don't. I've heard things. I don't know. I just think that again, if you want to change and stop the VIP club from getting any more VIP, then you need to change the marketing for it. That's all.
No, you don't. You're getting free cosmetics. That makes you VIP. You're getting access to a VIP part of the forums. You're getting access to a world
than the zeitgeist. I think you are verily underestimating how important people want to feel like they are better than other people.
Sure they do, but then that just makes your game have 20,000 current active players.
Well, that's the problem, is I don't think that going, like, when you're calling it something VIP, people are going to expect VIP treatment. Don't market it like that. Market it as a value, not as a, like, elitist subscription.
I disagree. Every company markets their yearly cheaper subscription like this. It's not. I don't think it's the problem.
I think every other company markets it as a great value, opposed to how powerful it is. But whatever. Not so we can agree to disagree on that. I don't have any. Sorry, I'm still trying to eat breakfast. I don't have any concrete example because I didn't expect to have this argument. I expected to be eating a peanut butter bagel. Anyway.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for the show today.
Oh fuck! End it on that note.
Well, what else is there? We have no more topics.
I know. That was the worst segue in the history of the show. I'm eating a bagel with my peanut butter stuck to the roof of my mouth, arguing a non-argument, and I'm just like, fuck it. I'm supposed to be eating a bagel.
I mean, I don't know. I've learned today that it's okay to eat on the show. That's what I've learned.
I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. I just came.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm not even supposed to be alive today. Anyway.
I mean, yes, it was a bad segue, but the show is over. Thank you for those subscriptions.
Bye,
Ryan and Vin Tom. Bye.
Oh god, my power is off in 5 minutes to save energy. This computer knows what's up. No, stop it.
I really almost hit the end button at the bye, and I might have to get you to edit the episode just at the bye. You know what? It's perfect. You know what? There, I've stopped the recording. Now it has to be edited at the bye. That's the end of the show. It's gonna be hilarious.
It's fine. I have to edit out all the steak.com
yeah.
references.
Well, that joke's gonna make no sense.
That's true. But I said I would. But that's typical Magebit, is saying that I would and then not doing it. And you know what I'll do is I'll actually increase the volume on every single steak.com.
Or just go and like overwrite every one of them and just say chicken.
Yeah, chicken.com.
People are gonna love the ending to that show. It's just gonna be.
Are we off the air? Or are we
still
live?
We're still live on Twitch. It's gonna be.
Everybody?
I don't even remember who said. It's gonna be RRman saying bye, and then it's gonna be cut.
Yeah, that's the end. That we good.
That's what I want.
No, and VIP members will get the remaining 3 minutes just to go with the theme.
Oh man.
I've literally made it through 2/3 of a half a bagel since I've been awake today. I feel like shit, so I apologize.
All right. Well, stream. I guess I'll say bye.